evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mount Carmel Area High School Red Tornado football. And tonight, I guess we could basically, Wayne, sum this one up as the big one.
Oh, this is it. This is the game of the game in the state. You're talking about a single A team that's ranked number 1, a double A team that's ranked number 2 in the state, and only living, about 12 miles away from each other. Both schools had their pep rallies, their bonfires and everything else, and they are pumped. Both of these teams, when you talk to everybody, we talk to a lot of people from southern area and Mount Carmel, and that's all they talk about is how keyed up both of these teams are, and they want to play this game.
Well, tonight the Red Tornadoes, of course, travel to the campus at Southern Columbia Area High School, the Tiger Stadium, where they will meet the Tigers in what has become one of the greatest state rivalries out there right now. We look at this field. We talked to the athletic director, of course, Terry Sharrow. Terry told us that this afternoon the field took 2 rainstorms, and one of them, a very hefty windstorm, took a lot of the fencing down prior to the game. So his ground crew has been very busy. But I got to tell you, Wayne, when you look at this field and looking at it and walking around it, this field is immaculate. It is ready to play football tonight.
It looks like a carpet. I mean, it's not real thick like we've seen at Wyomissing, which slows the runners down. It's cut down very nice, and it's a soft run. It looks like it's going to be a fast field tonight.
We look, of course, here they come, the Mount Carmel Red Tornadoes, and you can hear the crowd in front of us. As you remember when we were here 2 years ago, this is going to be a very loud stadium. It is capacity crowd. It is overflowing. We expect 7,000 to 8,000 people in this stadium, and I think every one of them is here already. Now, those of us who watch this kind of stuff on a regular basis, if you're a football fan in the area, there's not a whole lot we can tell you about Southern Columbia area or Mount Carmel area you don't already know. This game is as big as it gets in the area. Of course, so many families are intermingled between these 2 school districts and so many friends and all over here. So it really sets the stage. Also, we look tonight as we look at the field and talk about how good a condition that field is in despite the rain it had. The weather is absolutely picture perfect. This would be the exact thing you would ask for, the exact weather conditions to play a big football game, and we got them tonight. Yeah,
in the last 2 weeks, it has been a little bit warm. One weekend there, it rained, and some of the games were canceled before the end of the game. And no, this is really nice. They were talking about some showers tonight starting at 6 o'clock, but as of right now, it certainly does not look at the sun was out a little while ago. And really looks like a nice, cool night, and it looks like it's not going to be much of a toll on either team.
We'll watch the captains go out to midfield, of course, for the coin toss and meeting each other. They, of course, have already done that. That's something that happens like in other levels of football earlier in the day here, but they go out for the ceremonial coin toss on this time. They already know who won and who lost. And we look out there, we got, for our side at least, we got 55 Shoppy, 50 Bucher, 25 Veach, and 26 Lantini representing Mount Carmel area. And when they separate there a little bit, I'll tell you who's on that. Kaskie is one of the representatives from Southern Columbia. And as soon as I get a look at the other number, I believe Conahan, he's the tall guy. I'm guessing he's out there. Can you see those numbers?
No, I can't.
Yeah, well, we got our boys out in the middle there. We'll see if they catch them. There they are. You got it live there, folks, so you can see it close up. Conahan is, of course, the other one, number 26, Sean Conahan.
And 32, Nate Richard.
And Nate Richard. So they're the 3 captains for Southern Columbia tonight. Of course, Coach Roth, we know Coach Roth very well. We read about him and his team every week. His record of success is absolutely unmatched. It's just unbelievable here in the region. And, of course, we bring a new coach into this game. He's getting to see this rivalry up close and personal for the first time, Coach Brennan. And we talked with him at Supper Club last night, and he was absolutely pumped up. The kids are pumped up. I mean, the media attention and just the talk back and forth between the 2 communities in the past week has been phenomenal. So the only thing left to do, Wayne, is what we're about to do, and that's kick off. Mount Carmel area will receive the kickoff. Southern Columbia area will kick to them, and we'll get this thing ready to crank very shortly. Some of the names you're going to look for on the Southern Columbia area side of the ball, of course, on offense will be Kaskie, the quarterback. Right. Of course, let's not forget Nate Richards. We saw him last year. Nate Richards is one tough hombre. He's the kind of guy that just punishes you every time you have to tackle him. And, of course, the newcomer to this team, Nate Chicatano, we all heard all of the stories and followed him as he came here from Shamokin area. So he is a new addition. He has acquitted himself extremely well in their first 2 games. So he got used to that wing T offense very quickly.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's a hard defense or a hard offense to defense to, because there's so much motion back there. But just think what it was like for Nate to come over here and try to learn their playbook now after, being at Shamokin for 2 years.
Number 17, Matthew Brobst will tee it up for Southern Columbia as he gets ready, and we are seconds away, ladies and gentlemen, of putting this barn burner on. And there you have it. He kicks straight down. It goes to number 2, Kleha, about the 10-yard line. He shifts fields a little bit, heads over to his left, and he breaks out.
He's got an open sideline.
And he's heading down.
Shinkatano is the safety man back there. He stayed back because of his speed, and you see that's his job. Kleha kicked to the outside, and he got a lot of running room down there, all the way down to the 49-yard line, and Shinkatano takes him out of bounds.
So a 40-yard return to open the game up for Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes. Of course, Kleha with the spark here to start the game off, and Mount Carmel area will go on offense. You know their names. You got Shinskie at quarterback. Number 26, Lentini, enters the lineup, and he's going to be split out wide right. And in front, we have the big house backfield, Veach, and he's got Ziegler and Brown in front of him. And they go right to Veach immediately, and he cracks out along the side, and he takes the ball all the way down to the Southern Columbia area 37-yard line or so for a first down. And Mount Carmel area comes out breathing fire tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Their cornerback, Kowalczyk, number 36, takes Veach out of bounds. Southern area comes out with their patented defense. They've been running this for years now. Their 4-4 defense. They're going to force you into trying to pass the ball, stop you in the run.
Again, Mount Carmel area opens up into the heavy backfield, as we call it. Veach is running behind him as he cuts back, and he takes the ball down to the 31-yard line, where it's going to bring up a second down and 5 or so for the Red Tornadoes. So they are carving up chunks of yardage here in the early going against the Tiger defense.
Okay, again, the offensive line in center, 54, Randy Swank, 69, Nick Cuff, left guard, right guard, number 50, Matt Bucher, 55, Dave Shoppy, left tackle, number 59, Nick Bierster, right tackle.
This time we come out in a different backfield, split backfield. And we hand it to Ziegler, and he smacks it right up the middle as Ziegler takes it down to the 26-yard line, where it'll be good for another Mount Carmel area Red Tornado first down.
Getting back to the lineup, the offense, number 2, Josh Kleha, the split end. Number 6, tight end, Vince Senchak. You have John Kerpich will be coming in, number 37. Dave Shinskie, quarterback. Aaron Ziegler, number 40, the blocking fullback. Number 25, John Veach. And number 21, Steve Matzura, will be playing in a slot or a split.
Medallis goes into the lineup for the Red Tornadoes. He comes out here split all the way out to the right next to Matsura, and you got Lentini over to the far left as Shinskie looks to pass now. First pass, and he hits number 1, Medallis.
Fumbled.
And Medallis dropped the ball out, but they're going to call him down, and he takes the ball down to the 21-yard line of the Southern Columbia Tigers, where it'll be second down and about 5. It's going to be a long 5, about 5 yards on the first pass play for Shinskie as he hits Medallis in the flat. And the defense, Wayne, we talked about Southern Columbia, that's a 4-4 defense, and they're daring you to throw the ball.
Right, and that's what they're doing. They're going to stop you on the run or try to stop you. And they're shifting and putting motion.
This time, Veach right up the middle. Veach splits back. Veach is going to go in. Ladies and gentlemen, he is down. No, yes, touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen, the first touchdown of the evening for the Mount Carmel Red Tornadoes occurs at the 9:52 mark of the first quarter. And Wayne Big Red came out and said, we're going to make a statement, and they did.
Well, you know what? We talked about all the key positions on both teams, and these two teams match up so well between the quarterbacks, the running backs, the tight ends, you name it, and both teams have it.
Yasenchak lining up for the extra point, something a little different, and we say differently because they take turns somehow doing that.
Yep.
And he puts it up, and it's good, ladies and gentlemen. So at the 9:52 mark of the first quarter, it is Mount Carmel area 7 and the Southern Columbia area Tigers nothing as we await the Mount Carmel area kickoff.
Now we get back to that, and you're talking about the close matchup, and everybody in all the papers, they point one way or the other for quarterbacks, for tight ends, for this, for that, running back. But what everybody didn't look at is probably the line. My opinion is the team that's going to win this is the line that plays for the full 4 quarters and does not stop. At this point, we don't know what the Southern offensive line is going to do against the Mount Carmel defense, but we've certainly seen what the Mount Carmel line has done up to this point.
Jasenchak's going to tee it up for Mount Carmel area as he prepares the kickoff, and he'll be kicking off down there to number 32, Nate Richards, and of course Nate Chickatana, number 41, in deep receiving position.
Now this is going to be a test to see what we're going to do, because you got 2 speedsters down there. Richards here for a number of years, and we know what he can do. We've seen Nate at Shamokin when he gets in the open. He's already brought one back this year for a touchdown. Is Mount Carmel going to kick to them or keep it short?
And he kicks over to the Richard side, and Richard will take it about the 15 or 16-yard line. He breaks up, and he's brought down about the Southern Columbia 29-yard line or so, where the Tigers will take over 1st and 10 and begin their first offensive set of the evening.
Number 26, Ron Lentini, and number 85, Justin Dillo, in, and a good, strong hit there.
Of course, Southern Columbia will come out in their famous wing P offense. A lot of motion, a lot of deception, very hard to find who has the ball. So we'll keep you posted. Watch carefully as Kaskie brings them up. And he hands off to Richards immediately. Richards tries to get along the line. Number 69 for Mount Carmel area. That's Nick Cuff, and Nick Cuff came in and completely wrecked the play. It'll be a loss on the play of about a yard. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 11 for the Tigers.
Now for Southern area, it seems a little different. That was just a straight handoff. Running out, they had pulling guards and everything. It looked like something like we would run.
Kaskie brings him up. He's got Chickatano in that slot position. And number 40, Trometer, and he drops back the pass right away under heavy pressure, and he's brought down by Brown.
And 40, Ziegler. Ziegler put a lot of pressure on him and kicked Kaskie back up into the center where Brown made the tackle.
So the flag on the play, we'll wait to see what that is, but the Tigers take another loss on the play as Kaskie is sacked, and we'll wait and see what Mount Carmel area chooses to do. The ball's now sitting at the 24-yard line of the Tigers, so brings up a 3rd and 15 if Mount Carmel decides not to do anything with it. And that's indeed what I believe they did.
Yeah.
They declined the penalty, so it'll be 3rd and 15 or so for the 1st down. And so far, the Mount Carmel area defense also making their statement here tonight in front of this big capacity crowd.
One thing that Coach Roth had said was he was a little unpleased in the first 2 weeks. He said this last week after the 2nd game, that his pass defense or on offense protection was not what he wanted. It wasn't up to par yet.
He's got Trometer right in back of him, but he pitches out to Richard, who tries to come around, or to Chickatano. And Chickatano gets up over the 30-yard line to about the 32-yard line, where he is brought down, and it's going to bring up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Tigers.
Now, again, there's something that Southern area hasn't shown in a number of years. Too quick. One a handoff to Richards coming around. The other one is a quick pitch to Chickatano, trying to get him to the outside that he can utilize his speed.
32, and Nate Richards also is the punter for the Tigers. He's back deep where he'll punt, and he lets it loose, and he's in the direction of Veach, who does take it at his own 28, and he's trying to split 2 guys there, and he'll go down at the 29-yard line. So Mount Carmel area now back on offense at the Mount Carmel area 29-yard line.
Okay, setting up the defense for Southern area. Again, in their 4-4, their defensive end is 86, Brad Sones. The defensive tackle, 79, Nick Fisher. The other defensive tackle, 78, Brian Leffler. And the defensive end, number 72, Mike Fox. Their linebackers, 50, Mills, 71, Schaffler, number 5, Smeltzer, and number 26, Sean Conahan.
This time it's right up the middle to Veach. Veach crosses over to 30 to about the 31-yard line. It's like a pickup of 2, brings up a 2nd down and 8 for the Red Tornadoes.
Finishing out the defense for Southern, the cornerback, number 34, Jason Bropes. The other cornerback, 36, Kowalczyk. And the free safety will be either number 13, Matt Kaskie, or number 41, Nate Chickatano.
And we kind of get the jitters out of everybody, I think, by this point in the game.
Yeah,
now
I think
now
so.
We're settling in at the 7:34 mark of the 1st quarter. as he's got Ziegler in front of Veach, and he's going to pitch it over to Veach. And Ziegler makes a great block on the outside, and Veach takes it up to the 35-yard line. He's brought down by number 71, Mike Schaffler, for the Tigers.
Yeah, number 86, Sones, makes the initial hit about 2 yards back to slow Jonathan up.
Ziegler had a massive hit on the corner as he was the lead blocker that time, and we've seen what Ziegler can do. It brings up a 3rd down and about 5. It's a short 5 for the Red Tornadoes here in their own territory. The ball on the 35 of Big Red. Time Shinskie's going to go back in the pass. He's got plenty of time, and he finds Lentini at the 48-yard line, where a 1st down and 10 for the Red Tornadoes, as Shinskie is so far deadly accurate, as we have seen him in the first 2 games so far this season.
Now, if this keeps up, Southern's got to loosen up their 4-4 defense a little bit, pull those backs, especially the 2 outside linebackers to cover the flats a little bit. Dave Shinskie has more, and that's what the 4-4 does for you. It takes your run away, but it gives your quarterback so much time because you're only worried about 2 guys.
We're back in that kind of big and backfield there as we had the Veach, and he tries to get around the corner. He does, and he's going to get all the way down to the 41-yard line. Chicatano kind of hog ties him to the ground, but once again, a 1st down and 10 for the Red Tornadoes, and offensively they are chewing the Tigers apart here in the first quarter of play.
Some good blocking up on the interior of that line for Mount Carmel. You're talking on that side, we got number 54 to center, Randy Swank, and Matt Bucher, Nick Bierster, but also you have number 40 coming through there as the blocking back, the fullback, Aaron Ziegler.
This time right up the middle of Ziegler, a quick opener. Ziegler takes it over the 40-yard line down to the Southern 37-yard line, and he's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 7.
I'll tell you what, they're really not Tornadoes. Coach Brennan's not doing too much other than putting Brown in there and Ziegler as the 2 blocking backs. And, he can run about 3 different plays off that, which is just outstanding. He can run it to the right or the left. He handed off to Ziegler. We seen him last week pitch also to Jonathan on that play.
This time we hand to Veach again. He goes right up the middle. He crosses over the 35-yard line, takes it down to the 33-yard line of the Tigers.
Number 5, Smeltzer, has to come up from the defensive backfield to make that tackle.
3rd down now and 2 for the Red Tornadoes. Ball sitting exactly at the 33-yard line of the Tigers, as once again Mount Carmel area's offense is pushing its way down the field. And this, you would guess, is 2-down territory either way for that. So.
Yeah.
Taking a little longer in the huddle than most people would want here. They're going to have to click this one off quickly when they get to the line. He's got his big tight end over there on the right side, and he gives it to nobody. He keeps it. He's going to throw it, and he just gets it over Brown, 51. The fullback had filtered out of the backfield into the flat, but a little too high for him. It'll bring up 4th and 2 now for the Red Tornadoes, and this is where we said we're going to be going for it either way. But he had Brown open, ladies and gentlemen. That's the play you may see again later on.
Yeah, and Brown was wide open. He's a big target, 6'1".
He's definitely a big target.
He's a big target, and unfortunately it was just a little overthrown.
He's big, tall, and big wide. It's hard to get the ball around him, too. So Medallis now trots into the game as Shinskie brings the play in from the sideline. Of course, Coach Brennan keeping a nice mix going here on offense for the Red Tornadoes.
We see the 2 walls of granite in there, 31 and 40, the blocking backs.
This time Veach will take it right up the middle. And I don't think he got it, to tell you the truth. I think they stopped him. I believe the Southern Tigers have stopped him the way it looks, as he went right up the middle behind the 2 big ones. But the Southern line, they're going to measure it, but from where he placed the ball at, it doesn't look like he got it. So we'll wait and see. And you'll see on the monitor very closely where it is.
I don't know if it was an interior lineman for, was it the defensive tackle, number 69, Fisher, but Veach had sort of a clear hole there for running, and somebody just tripped them up, just got their arm out and tripped them.
Yeah, the Tigers have stopped them. We will not get the 1st down. They'll take over 1st and 10 as the Red Tornado offense is stopped down at the 31-yard line of the Tigers. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Kaskie and his group as he brings them out. And we'll see what they can do. They were 3 and out in that first series of offense for them. Kaskie's got Trometer right behind him as what would be the fullback in this offense, depending on how they run it. And he's going to hand it. No, he's keeping it. He has a keeper and this time he gets around the end, and he's going. And you got Dillo over there, and Dillo's going to bring him out of bounds. Veach would have also got him had he got past Dillo, but a big gain for the Tigers as Kaskie on a keeper now out of that wing T offense. Picks up big yardage, takes the ball all the way down to the Mount Carmel area 47-yard line where it's 1st and 10 Tigers.
Some nice blocking there by Chickatano on that motion. There was a pulling guard also. You see in the last series and this series, they're running to the outside. They're not doing too much up the center.
Now he put Chickatano in motion this time, and he's going to hand off to Richards. And Richards is going to take it down to about the 40-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 4, a 6-yard pickup for Richards that time as he goes left over our right side.
Bucher making the hit there, and Richards still picked up 7 yards, although Bucher made the hit about 3 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Second down and probably a long 2, it looks like, where they finally place the ball down as Kaskie brings them up. And this time it's an inside handoff to Chickatano. And Chickatano's in serious trouble as Lentini, but who was in there first? The lineman that stopped him first. Lentini makes the stop. It's a big loss for the Tigers. Big loss as they bring it down. It brings up now a 3rd down and 9. And we'll see a replay coming up here, and we'll see what that got. There he is there. That's number 40, Ziegler. Okay. Excellent there on the replay. You saw 40, and he was one that drove Chickatano back, and then Lentini finished them off. But a big defensive play for the Red Tornadoes now. As we said, it's now 3rd and 9 for the Tigers. And he keeps it, and he's going to pass it. Kaskie's looking around. He's under a lot of pressure. He's hit. And he was looking for the big tight end, Conahan. He had Conahan open there, but just got through him. And that'll bring up a 4th down and 9, and the Tigers will be forced to punt the ball. So a promising drive snuffed out there on the big loss with Chickatano in the backfield, and then the Conahan pass.
A lot of pressure on Kaskie that time. Conahan, like you said, was wide open, and boy, he's been sure hand so far this season.
Well, you got to be careful with Conahan. You do not want him loose out there because he is a threat. Ball goes to Veach at his 10-yard line. He comes near side there, and he's going to be brought down by number 36 for the Tigers, and that's Stephen Kowalczyk. He's a senior here, 5'10", 165 pounds for the Tigers, and he makes a short tackle on Veach. So the ball will be set down at the Mount Carmel area 18-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10.
Yeah, Kowalczyk is their defensive cornerback, so he's used to being in there and making some solid tackles, and that's exactly what he did. Veach trying to give the stiff arm to break away from him, but Kowalczyk just wouldn't give up.
Three minutes and 1 second remaining here in the first period of play. Penalty flag before the play really gets rolling, and that usually means a 5-yard penalty against the offense. So we're going to march it back 5 yards.
Now we got motion.
And we'll start again 1st and 15 now with the ball at the Mount Carmel area 13-yard line.
Someone a little anxious there trying to, get off before the ball is centered. Number 1, Medalis goes in where Kleha comes out.
Big Red comes up to the line. They've got Medalis and Matzura wide, but they're going to hand it to Veach. He's going to try to get around the corner, and he's not going to do it. Brings the ball up to the 15. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 13 for the 1st down.
Again, you take a look at Chickatano playing defense, free safety. He's mirror everything that Veach is doing. He's going to that side of the field, whether it's a fake or a true handoff, man. He's in that position. Shotgun.
Shotgun, but he hands it to Veach up the middle. Veach is going to get stopped in there by big number 79. That's Nick Fisher for the Tigers, and a little bit of deception there for the Tornadoes, but does not work as he takes the ball down to the 18-yard line, just about the original line of scrimmage. It brings up now a 3rd and 10. Mount Carmel area deep in their own territory, so we could see a change of field position here if things don't work for the Red Tornadoes on this 3rd down play. He comes up to the line. He's got them wide spread. He's got Lantini and Matzura both wide right and left as he looks to pass. He's got all kinds of time. That was real tight coverage. The ball was intended for Lantini, number 34 on the coverage, and that was Jason Bropst for the Tigers in good defensive position for the Tigers. He broke the pass up.
He broke the pass up, and number 50, the linebacker, the corner linebacker, Jason Mills, he tipped the ball before it even got back to Lantini.
Oh, okay. So it's going to bring up a 4th down, and Mount Carmel area will be kicking from deep inside their own territory as Shinskie is back deep, and we have a flag on the play before we even get rolling, and now we have a second flag.
Beautiful punt.
Brought down in there by number 42 for the Red Tornadoes, and that's Hajnowski. But we got 2 flags on the play at 2 different points. Pilarski, number 42.
Motion. And we got motion. The way he punted that ball, they might just decline it and take the ball right where it's at.
Might be a good idea. We only see what they do as they look, and they do. They're going to decline the penalty and take the ball at the Mount Carmel area 40-yard line. As we said, a big change of field position here as they had a punt from their own 50 from the 50-yard line or so. So now you see them in good field position, but the play is kind of tightened up here now on both sides of the ball as they kind of felt each other out, and now they're feeling pretty comfortable. There's 1:31 remaining in the first quarter as Kaskie will bring them up. He has Trometer and Chicatano kind of directly behind him there in the backfield. And he keeps it. He's chased by Cuff. And that was some athletic football, and he's going to go in, I think.
Go in, yep.
He does. That's a touchdown, Southern Columbia. That I don't. With the extra point attempt to be made here by number 17, and then again, that's Bropst. Penalty down, he puts it through. Let's wait and see. We apologize for that little lack of sound there as we got the plug kicked out here and didn't call that touchdown live to you, but you saw it on there. Kaskie making an absolute fabulous run to put the ball in the end zone. That's against the Tigers here as we look. It'll move the ball 5 yards back. So Mr. Bropst will be kicking from the 7-yard line or so instead of the 2 on this extra point attempt. And he tees it up once again, and this time he's going to miss it. And he knew it right away. You could tell by the way he hit it. He knew it right away. He got it sideways a little bit. And that'll leave the score at the 1:19 mark of the first quarter. Mount Carmel area 7 and the Tigers 6, but we cannot say enough good things about what Mr. Kaskie just did on that play. That's a big-time football play.
I'll tell you what, it was a very nice run, and he was hit twice as he was going around the end. Just broke loose of the tackles and took off down the sideline.
Yeah, you don't really, I mean, that's not a defensive lapse there. I mean, you got 2 guys that were in position to get him, and he just was so athletic that time that it didn't work. So.
And on top of that, they had some excellent blocking on that side of the field from their interior linemen that sealed everything off, where you only had 2 guys making a shot at Kaskie.
And we saw Matt last year. We were extremely impressed with his play last year down in the Silver Bowl. So it's nothing new, but I guess he just continues to amaze me when you see him do stuff like that as he did the rest of the stadium a little while ago. Bropst will kick it off. He kicks it down the middle, and it's going to head to number 2, Kleha again. Kleha's looking to pick his lane, and he's going to be brought down this time by number 33, Eric Levan from the Tigers, as Levan got behind him as he was trying to pick a lane. And the return will take it out to the 26-yard line, where Mount Carmel area will take over 1st and 10.
Again, Southern area offensively looks like they want to work to the outside. They want to stay away from the interior line, as we had seen in the first 2 games. The Tornadoes defensively in the interior are just unbearable in there.
This time we give it to Veach. Veach cuts up the middle. He's going to take it up to about the 29-yard line. It'll be a 3-yard gain or so. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 7. And the Southern defense has definitely tightened it up here from that first series.
They're having some good pursuit moves here. They're really, going after John. They're mirroring John wherever John goes. If he goes right, goes left, no matter what. But it seems like they are totally keying on John. They have 4 guys off the center of the line as soon as he comes through.
Well, that's a big front line, defensive front line for the Tigers, and that's their hallmark. I mean, I don't know what they're feeding them here, but this group is always big up front. This time we hand it to Veach, and we try to get Veach outside, and we do that time, and he's outside, and he's off to the races. The only guy left to bring him down is going to be number 36, and he does. That's Steven Kowalczyk, but not before Veach takes it down to the Southern 28-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10.
Nate Chicatano came up that time and sort of got caught in the wash, and John just blew right by him all the way down to the 35. And they were lucky that John at Richards was there to make the tackle.
They placed the ball at the 30-yard line when they finally get it placed down there. And that play, once again, that's the 2nd time we've seen that play. And that play is completely driven by Ziegler's block. And I want to take 1 second here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the first quarter here at Tiger Field. And the score, Mount Carmel area 7, the Southern Columbia area Tigers 6. Now, this is still a pretty good chess game going here when you look at what everybody's doing and what everybody's looking to do. Mount Carmel area so far, I would say, is guessing right offensively. They're doing a good job offensively, keeping the Tigers a little off balance. And again, when you have Veach, you got to remember you're looking at probably the best running back in the state.
You're right.
That takes a lot of doing. And what you do there, and I'm sure that Coach Brennan's watching this, what we're doing is you're going to watch a little bit, just as Coach Roth does. Watch and see what that defense does and how they react every play. And now when you get into the 2nd quarter and then the 3rd quarter, now you're starting to see an adjustment made here. And you may not see Veach carry the ball as much, or you may not see him carry it where he's been carrying it. And then you're going to see some passing and some loosening of it up a little bit.
The one in that one series of downs in the first quarter, in the middle of the first quarter, we saw he gave it to Veach, and then all of a sudden Ziegler carried the ball. He picks up 7 yards automatically. So you see what that does.
And when I say that, I don't know what the stats are off the top of my head right now, but Veach has got some pretty good yardage racked up, even with the whole team keying on him.
There's Ziegler there.
There you use Veach as a fake toss, and you send Ziegler up the middle. Ziegler takes it down to the Southern Columbia area 27-yard line, about
good 3
yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 7 for the Tornadoes as Kleha brings the play in the Shinskie. But a lot of things you can do there as they key, but I cannot believe the Tigers will be able to spend the entire game keying on Veach, because I don't think Coach Brennan's going to let that happen.
So we got split out here, slot with Kleha and number 21, Matzura.
Back to pass, all kinds of room, and he's looking downfield, and he looks all the way down. And it was tipped there somewhere. I don't see who got his hand on the ball, but he had Kleha in the end zone, and the ball got tipped right over his head.
I think someone must have. The way it looked, we had Kleha and we had Matzura.
We'll look at the replay here as he throws it downfield.
See, we had 2 guys in the same 5 yards away from each other, and there were 4 defenders there.
Now, Coach Brennan would have seen a couple of things on that play, Wayne, that I'm sure we're going to see again. Shinskie was looking downfield the whole time. He was not looking around a lot at anybody else because that's where he wanted to go, but we saw a lot of guys in that pattern. Penalty flag goes up.
But you can't say enough about the blocking, the pass protection that Dave is getting.
Yeah.
Although that comes partly from the 4-4 defense, because they're only rushing 4 guys unless they're going to blitz one of their linemen.
Yeah, they are. That was a penalty against Mount Carmel area. It'll be 5-yard penalty. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 12 now for the Red Tornadoes and change the play a little bit. But you're right. He's getting all kinds of time to throw, and they're sooner or later going to have to start sending a linebacker out of that 4-4 to get into him.
But then what that does, it leaves your zone open now. Now you can hit somebody out of the backfield into that zone.
Looks over and he finds Matzura open, and Matzura down the sideline.
Nice pickup.
He's taken out down along the 26-yard line of the Tigers. It'll bring up a 3rd down and about 5.
Yeah. Some pressure now that time. Now, we talked about this, and I think it was number 76 that got in and gave some pressure to Dave Shinskie that time. Threw the ball on the run, which is, not easy to do because you're not planting your feet, and there it was, right to Matzura.
There's a timeout, I thought, on the field, but I thought I heard the announcer say it, and they ran out, but the referee saying, no, I don't remember any timeout, so brings up 4th down and 5, and the Tornadoes are looking downfield, looking for their big tight end, number 6, Yasenchak, and number 36 on the play. That's again Kowalczyk. Keep calling the senior's name out here tonight. Kowalczyk breaks up the pass, and once again, the Tornadoes turn the ball over here on downs. It's 1st and 10 Tigers. Ball sitting on their own 25-yard line. And again, good pass defense. We sent the big tight end down there in the middle of the fray, and that's something we'll see again tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But Kowalczyk right on him.
Right on him.
Kaskie brings him up. He's got Trometer back there, and he's got Richards back there. And he hands it to Richards around the end. They're going to push him out, but there's going to be a flag. It's going against the Tigers. It's very close down to the 26-yard line.
Has to be holding or tripping down there. I saw as we were pursuing that play, trying to stretch it out a little bit, you saw a hand come out and catch around the ankles.
Yeah, that play's definitely going back. It's a holding call against the Tigers on a big run by Richards, but it's coming back. And that's going to bring up let's see where they march. I didn't see where they march it off from. We'll see where he set it down finally. But it'll bring up a 1st down now, and
on a 17.
1st and about 18 now. The way, 1st and 18 or so for the Tigers. The ball now sitting back down on their 12, 13-yard line. I'm sorry, 17-yard line. Kaskie keeps it this time. Again, right up the middle, and Kaskie is difficult to bring down.
Yeah.
Number 55 in there, Shop, he's going to bring him down along with 69, the big guy, Cuff.
But they're getting in some good blocking there. It's not going to take much for Kaskie to kick out to the outside again and pick up some extra yardage on those plays.
It'll bring a 2nd down and probably about 12, it looks like, for the Tigers. He picked up a good 5 yards on the play. Sending Richards in motion. He keeps the ball and he looks downfield, and he's going to be intercepted by Veach. Veach has the ball and he's going downfield. He takes it down inside the 30 to the Southern Columbia 28-yard line. He was heading for Chicatano, and Veach just got up in the air and brought it down in a fine defensive interception by John, and he does it on both sides of the ball here. There you see it.
Yeah, Kleha was guarding Nate Chicatano here on that one. But Veach did exactly what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to float back to help protect and help Kleha. And what he did was he got himself in a position to jump up and get the ball.
So the Red Tornadoes open up 1st and 10 deep in Tiger territory about the 29-yard line. As Shinskie's going to hand it to Veach, and he's going to cut back. He goes right up the middle. He's still going, but a flag falls right down in the middle of the line, and that's never a good flag. That'll go against Mount Carmel area, I'm almost guaranteeing you.
That is, too.
And it does, and it's a hold against the Tornadoes. So a fine run by Veach will be brought back. And
no, we had talked about the first 2 games about the penalty freeness of our team, and now all of a sudden here we've got a couple flags, and this is the game that you don't want to do that in.
Well, you know, what you see different for both of these teams and the penalties is this is the first pressure cooker they're in.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The first 2 games were fairly easy for them as they ran up big scores and had their way. But now when you're in a tight game and it's 7-6 and it's a rivalry, things get a lot harder to do the way you want to do them. Brings up a 1st and 19 now for the Red Tornadoes as they take themselves out of good position. And he finds Lentini down along the sideline. Lentini takes it down to about the 29-yard line. Right about the original line of scrimmage where it's a 9-yard gain, bringing up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, they just set up in a slot position. They send Kleha deep to clear out the zone, and all they're doing is just running into the flat. And all they don't want to pick up real big yardage. They pick up their 5 yards just so they can get out of the hole a little bit. If he can break it, more power to him. Now we're doing the same thing on the other side.
Split backfield. This time Shinskie tells Veach to move down the line, and now Veach is a wide receiver as Shinskie calls the play.
And you see Shikatano comes over on top of him.
Shinskie ends up all the way down at the 23-yard line in a great play. I thought he went down for a second. I thought his knee touched.
No, he got his hand down, kept his balance. He was hit twice back there. Number 78 for the defense there for
78
Southern.
is Leffler, Brian Leffler.
They're putting some pressure on him, and he saw him coming the whole time. He watched him out of the side of his helmet there.
Well, we had a blocking mistake there. We left him by there. Somebody didn't pick him up and turned the wrong way, but nonetheless, it brings up a 3rd down and 5 now as Shinskie gets him out of a little bit of trouble, and a big play now for the Tornadoes. And we hand it to Veach, and Veach is right up the middle. Veach takes it down to about the 21-yard line. It's going to bring a 4th down up and probably 2. 4th and 2 for the Tornadoes now.
It's exciting to see a great offensive line that the Tornadoes have running against this great defensive line that Southern has. It's a chess match, and here we're gonna just go right up the middle, and it's give and take.
A lot of strategy going by here as you watch this game unfold. 8:24 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Mount Carmel on a 4th down and about 2 as he hands it to Veach.
Veach kicks
picks
to the outside.
2 up, and he's going to pick up more than that. Touchdown. Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes at the 8:13 mark of the 2nd quarter on a tight 4th and 2. He sends Veach around the end, and this time he beat number 36 as Kowalczyk made a valiant effort there, but he got around Kowalczyk that time. And just like that, Mount Carmel area bulges out to a 13-6 lead.
Southern, in that play there, if you watch it, Southern changed their defense. They kept in their 4-4. They split and put the 2 linebackers over to center, thinking that we were going to come back up the middle again.
Senchak now, this time we trade hitting the ball the wrong way here as he misses it completely too. And that'll leave the score, Mount Carmel area 13 and the Tigers 6. But nice offensive series. And again, Veach is tearing the field up. We'll look forward to the first half stats and see what he's actually done yardage-wise. But he is definitely showing himself in the big game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's having some success to the outside. We've seen him kick right off tackle, or as soon as he gets around the end, he gets one-on-one, and he's going to pick up some big yardage on you. It was a great play by Coach Brennan that time. Southern area sets up their defense thinking that we needed the 2 yards for the 1st down, and we were going up the center. They shifted their 2 tackles a little bit further to the outside, put the gap in the center, and brought their 2 linebackers up into the gap over our center, right over the top, thinking they were going up there. And what happens, Veach kicks to the outside and scores.
The big guy, Senchak, will tee it up, kick to Richards and Shikatano deep for the Tigers, and he gets a nice kickoff. He drives Shikatano down to the 10-yard line, and Shikatano right up the middle now, and still moving, and a nice run back by Shikatano all the way up to the 33-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Tigers. So the Tigers take it over now, and it's been a kind of an offensive show here so far tonight. We'll see if the Big Red defense can stiffen it up a little bit. Both defenses struggling with these high-powered offenses here.
Southern area, though, not doing too much, not running it all into the center. They are kicking to the outside and trying to pick up their yardage to the outside of our defensive ends.
Once again, Tromener and Richards in that backfield. He's going to hand it to Richards, and Richards is going to go around. And this time, Richards is going to be stopped dead in his tracks, and we'll see who gets off the line there. And that's the big man, Cuff. And this time, Cuff fought through the block, and he's going to take Richards down. And he's going to probably, I would say he's right back at the line of scrimmage. It's a slight loss, but he got back to the line of scrimmage to bring up 2nd down and 10. And that's a play, as we talked about adjustments, that's a play they ran successfully several times. And this time, Cuff got through it and said no.
And then also this time, we brought, to the opposite side, we brought Lentini up in the line and blitzed him from this corner.
Fakes it to Chickatano, and he keeps it. He's under pressure, and he's heading down to the big man, Conahan, and he gets over Conahan's head that time, and that's not easy to do because Conahan's a big one.
6'5", 6'4", 6'5", Conahan is. 6'5", 225 pounds. I'll tell you what, you give him the ball and get him the ball in the open field, there's not too many guys going to take him down.
No, he's a big one. Speed on him, and that's why you see him. You don't normally see a tight end running those particular patterns, but they're confident enough in his speed that he's actually running a wide receiver pattern there.
And not only that, he's proved himself, last year and in the first 2 games, caught touchdown pass. He gets it in the open field and rumbles on.
3rd and 10 now for the Tigers from the 33. Kaskie keeps it. He heads downfield, and he's going to have a completion for a first down, and that time it is Conahan. Lentini on the stop, and Conahan takes it out to the 45-yard line for the first down.
Great play, a nice play. All he did was he went down, he button hooked right in the center of the field. He found an open area, found the zone right in the middle, and Kaskie hit him. And it was a nice pass. It was a nice low pass. Can't intercept him.
Well, if you keep it in front of him, you're not going to get around Conahan.
Right.
That's the other thing. He's just such a big guy out there. He's difficult to defend that way. Kaskie again back to pass as the Tigers are now looking for number 15. They have him, but he caught it out of bounds. A nice pass, but Christopher Grayson, the split end, caught it out of bounds. He couldn't stay in bounds in the pass from Kaskie, but he was way in back of the defensive secretary of Mount Carmel area, and that's something I'm sure they need to talk about among themselves because somebody missed him coming out.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Grayson would have just ran under the ball, he would have had it. He would have had a touchdown. He jumped for the ball, and when he jumped, his momentum did carry him out of bounds.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. Trometer and Chickatano in the backfield now for Kaskie. And Kaskie pitches it to Chickatano, and Chickatano goes left. He's going to be taken out of bounds about the 49-yard line of the Tornadoes as he just crosses over midfield. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and a long 5, almost 6 for the first down.
Lentini taking him out over there on the sideline. Some good pursuit. But again, that's not their normal offense. That was a quick pitch.
Right.
Something that we run. They put some pulling guards out there, and it was a quick pitch. They want to get Chickatano to the outside. Now Chickatano comes up into the slot.
Kaskie's going to keep it. We've seen this before. He comes around the end, and he's got it still going. And Lentini's going to bring him down, but again, a lot of guys missing a tackle on Kaskie that time. He takes the ball all the way down to the 29-yard line of the Red Tornadoes, and right now, Matt Kaskie is shredding the Mount Carmel area defense.
Yeah, he's their man. But you know what? Again, you can't say enough about their blocking. They're just
they had a whole train going out
there. They had the whole student body out there, and all they did was just split a seam for him to get through.
1st and 10 for the Tigers at the Mount Carmel area 29-yard line where Kaskie brings them up. This time he hands it to fullback Trometer, and this time Brown cracks through the line and takes Trometer down. Trometer will lose about 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 12 now for the Tigers. This Brown made a heck of a play.
Yeah. He did a swim move inside there and just came right up through off the right side of the center for Southern area and made a great play.
Ball sitting now back at the 32-yard line of the Tigers. He hands it off to Chickatano coming around the other end, and this time Chickatano is upended by Ziegler, and Ziegler brings him down big time, and Swaldy, 54 in there too, making his presence known.
Yeah, they ran close to the center of the line. Chickatano could not kick to the outside that time. And, of course, Brown makes the play.
Swaldy, I'm Swank. Not Swank, not Swaldy. Boy, I'm back in a couple of years ago again here. Swank, I'm sorry, Swank. I'm used to that center position. I'll tell you what, I'm like a creature of habit here. Brings up a 3rd and 12 now, and Kaskie looking to pass, and he swings it out to Chickatano. And Chickatano is going to be hit by number 6, Yasenchak. He did not get the first down. The ball's going to be set down at the Mount Carmel area 23-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down now and about 4 for the Tigers.
a little flare pass to Chickatano that time. A little bit of motion. Got Nate Chickatano moving in that direction. Kaskie turns around and hit him just out on the flat, hoping he'd get around the end and pick up the first down.
Big 4th and 4. He sends Grayson as far out as you can send him as the Tigers line up deep in Mount Carmel area territory as Kaskie looks to pass. He's being chased now, and he's going to... Broken up by Lentini. Almost intercepted. He was trying to get Richard sitting right along the sidelines, but Lentini steps in front of it and bats it away. And Mount Carmel area turns the Tigers back at their own 29-yard line and to take over the football 1st and 10 with 4 minutes and 53 seconds remaining here in the second quarter of play. And this is everything we thought it would be and then some.
Well, I'll tell you what, the surprising thing to me is the plays that Southern area happened to be running up to this point. A lot to the outside. They usually run a lot of slant plays to the center, that misdirection stuff, but the amount of passing that they have done in this second period alone is just, mind-boggling at this point.
Well, you're right. What really boils down to is we have not seen much of the wing T, as Veach is going to come right up the middle. Veach comes all the way up to the Mount Carmel area 33-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5 as he picked up 5 yards right up the middle as those legs keep churning. John, once again, having an outstanding football game here in the first half, almost unstoppable. But the wing T offense is kind of dead in the water at the minute, and I don't say dead in the water is that we're stopping it. They're just not using it.
Using it.
They're more wide open, more spread out, flare passing, quarterback sneaking around. Now that quarterback around the end is the part of the wing T there. But just a more varied offense from Coach Roth and his group. And there's a penalty, and that should go against the Tigers as they went offside there on the hard count by Shinskie. We'll see if that ball goes down far enough to make it a first down.
Now we got number 37 now. Kerpridge goes in, I guess, as the split here for Josh Kleha. Boy, that would bring us up close.
See where they set it down. We're saying 2nd and 5, but that could be anywhere where they actually set the 5-yard mark down at. And they're coming over. I think they're going to do this from a measurement so they get it right because I'm not sure where it is either.
Yeah, see what the...
Luckily, Coach Chickatano's down there to tell them exactly where he thinks it should have went. And it is a first down. They place it down, and it's 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes now as the ball will be placed down at the Mount Carmel area 33-yard line.
Again, you see a little bit, every time it shifts a little bit back and forth. Southern area starts moving the ball and it tightens up. And again, here's the Tornadoes back on offense, and now they're starting to move the ball a little bit better here.
Once again, Veach right up the middle. You keep going what's going, and Veach just keeps running hard. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, you've seen John Veach do all kinds of things in his career, but you're seeing him in that offensive line jam the ball straight up the middle for 5 yards every single time. 2nd down and 5 now for the Tornadoes. So they're confident in that inside running game. They're just pounding away out there.
And they're testing the defensive line for Southern area. 86 Brad Soms, he's a junior. Nick Fisher's a senior. Leffler's a junior, and Fox is a junior also.
This time Ziegler up the middle for short yardage. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and probably 3 for their first down for the Red Tornadoes as he crosses over the 40, and the ball will be placed down at the Red Tornado 42-yard line. And it brings up 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2, we got Brown going in now. And, he's going to take that spot right next to Ziegler.
Now we'll see what the Tigers do. You want to watch that offense, their defensive set, because they got burned on the last short yardage play where we didn't go where they thought, although they are now crowded up into the middle again. And we pitch out trying to get around, and we're going to give Veach a chance to get around, and he does. Chickatano takes him out of bounds, but not before he gets down to the Southern Columbia area 45-yard line where it's 1st and 10. And Southern's having its worst problems on our short yardage plays at the moment.
Well, again, I think Coach Brennan is actually now listening to the boys up here, Verano and I guess
Painter, that's Coach Painter next to him there.
Painter. And we noticed, I mean, I'm certainly sure they noticed also the defense that Southern sets up for their short yardage play here.
1st and 10 from the Tigers, and we have a penalty, and it's going to go against Big Red as every single referee on the field threw a yellow flag that time. I want to be sure we got everybody saw that one. So it'll quickly make it 1st down now and 15, and the ball sitting directly at midfield.
Now here's the case. The last short yardage, we went to the outside and we scored. This short yardage, we did the same thing, kicked to the outside, and we picked up, probably 15 yards there. John picked up for the 1st down. I'd like to see what Southern Area is going to come out with now and what Coach Brennan's going to run the next series.
1st and 15, we leave the big fullback Ziegler in the backfield, but we got Veach split out as Shinskie goes back to pass. Plenty of time, and he looks down for Kleha, but it's incomplete. Number 5 for the Tigers, and I thought Tom Smeltzer had the interception there.
So did I.
As we threw into coverage that time, he was well covered, and we tried to thread it in there, but number 5 Smeltzer breaks it up.
There's no way. There were 3 defenders there. Number 5 was there. I think the other linebackers were back there also. There was no way that I think he could have gotten that to Josh.
So it brings up now a 2nd down and 15 from the 50.
Now we got a slot over on the other side. We got Yasenchak at the tight end. Now we're bringing Josh back to this side.
Got to call timeout as we just got too much time wasted trying to get everybody in the right position. And Shinskie wisely calls times out. Coach Brennan walks out, and I guarantee you, as we said before, he is not walking out saying a lot of good things right now. He's not happy about the penalties. He's not happy about having to call a timeout because everybody's not in the right spot. And I think he's going to let everybody know that it's time to tighten it up a little bit. Mount Carmel area is going to have a 2nd and 15 when this timeout is over right at midfield. But as good a game as we could have ever hoped for, as both teams have shown themselves to be as good as their rankings. The play that stands out and will continue to stand out all night tonight will be Matt Kaskie's run for the touchdown, which was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think I can't say enough about how much I enjoyed watching that play, even though it was a Southern touchdown. Shinskie looks around at the pass, and he's going to be brought. No, he's not. He gives it to Ziegler.
And he's blocking for him yet.
Oh,
we got a flag.
As Ziegler goes down to the 40-yard line in a momentous collision down at the 40. I'm not sure what the flag is. It's going to go against Red.
It's going to go against Red. I think they're going to call clip on that one.
But there's an improvisation if you ever see one there. As Ziegler, the fullback in blocking position, Shinskie gets in trouble. Shinskie throws a block down there in the collision that occurred down there, and that was one head-on train wreck down there as Ziegler got to the 40-yard line, and we'll watch him march this flag off against the Red Tornadoes.
Was either that or use of the hands or something, I don't know, pushing in the back. That might have been it.
But that's the kind of play where you throw your whole offense off because no one knows what's happening in the back of them.
You bet.
But I'll tell you what, when Ziegler got ahead of steam there, I was wondering, he buried that head down, boy, and went for it.
Dave was in front of him, though. That was the best part about it. Dave pitched the ball back to him, got in front of him, and threw a block out there.
So that's going to come all the way back.
Yeah,
Big Red's going to be in big-time trouble now as the ball continues to come back. They'll set it down finally at the Mount Carmel area 43-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and about 900.
23 yards.
So Mount Carmel area offense kind of self-destructing here at the end of the half. Minute 27 and counting here as Shinskie brings them up.
Now look at their defense, prevent defense. They're back in.
Number 26 and that.
Around the throat there on that one. Oh well.
Shinskie will go down at the. Let me see where they play. They place it down at the 35-yard line. Again, a blown assignment on the red side of the ball. As who was that? Did you see?
I know, 26.
26. Yeah, the big guy. 26 for the Tigers. That's Conahan as he blew right by on a blitz, and we never saw him coming. We never looked, and he nearly took Shinskie's head off as he got to the quarterback. And once again, Mount Carmel area not wanting to ever remember this series of plays, as it is now 3rd down and 30. As time continues to tick away, 42 seconds, 41 seconds on the clock. The Red Tornadoes have had to delay a game, as this is truly a forgettable moment in time for the offense. And
well, I think that's where we started when we took the ball over at the 30-yard line.
Now 2nd and 35 for the Red Tornado. First down, as he sends Lentini in, and I'm not sure what the heck a 3rd and 35 play is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have one of those.
You know, Southern's going to be back in a prevent defense. They have Veach. John's back there, so.
Straight handoff to Veach right up the middle, and that's a safe play.
Yeah.
Veach will bring it up for about 5 yards on the play. Brings it up to the Tornado 34-yard line.
And Southern's going to call timeout with 29 seconds left on the clock. Again, it's a good call by Southern. Southern wants now either put pressure on Dave Shinskie on his punt or let him get it away and we'll take it and work it downfield. Now, you know, they do have enough of time, and, you know, Kaskie's been pretty deadly with some of the passes and been deadly out in the open.
29 seconds left here in the half as Mount Carmel will go into punt formation. Shinskie will be back there to punt. And the decision on the sideline over there in the black and gold is, are we going for it?
Right.
We're going to try to block it, or do we want to let them kick it away and hope one of the speed guys can bring it down the field on them? You probably get one play there and one more play depending where they stop, and if they do, and that'll be it for the half. So a little bit of strategy and a little bit of wonderment going on what's the best way to do this.
And as we've seen, Dave had a lot of time to punt the only time he punted in the game, and he got a beautiful punt off. I mean, Dave is an accomplished punter, and you know, that's in this case here, that's going to help. He does take his time back there, and he doesn't panic. Looks like they're back in it. They're not going to rush it. They're just going to be back in the prevent just to make sure.
And he booms it out of there. It's a high kick to Shikatano.
And he
drops
fumbled it.
And that's the end of any threat there as Shikatano lets the ball get through his fingers. And he'll set the ball down at the Southern Columbia 28-yard line where it's 1st and 10 with 21 seconds remaining here in the clock in this first half of play. That time he was looking ahead of him there a little bit, trying to see downfield, and that anxiousness gets to you sometimes. You want to make a big play, you know what everybody's trying to do.
It was the high kick by Dave Shinskie that does that. It gives your defense or your punt coverage time to get down, and it gives that receiver time to look around.
Kaskie goes back into pass formation. He's being rushed heavy. He's looking for number 15 on the field, covered by Dillo. 15 is Grayson. He's the speed guy on the outside, and the ball just over Grayson's head. But a nice pass play. You can see when Kaskie airs it out, he can do it.
And they're giving him enough time to throw the ball now, as you can see.
Actually, we had a blitz going on a linebacker play that time. Matzura tried to get through to him and couldn't. So Mount Carmel also cognizant of the fact that he's going to be dropping back to throw the ball. This time we bring number 2, Matt Porter. A lot of Matts on this team. You know? Matt Porter now split out. And we're going to hand it off. Kaskie's going to keep it, in fact. And he almost dropped it. He was carrying the ball at his knees. By the time he got put down, the ball goes up to the 35-yard line.
And Matzura making the stop that time. And I tell you, Kaskie, he's a danger out there. Every time he touches that, he keeps that ball. You know,
he reminds me a lot of Straub from Line Mountain that we saw last year in the district playoff game. Same kind of quarterback, not a real big guy, but my goodness, you can't bring him down with a bulldozer. No matter what you do to him, he's still up. That time was really an odd play as he really slipped is what stopped his momentum, but then the ball slipped, and he was kind of holding it down low on him there as he was getting hit, and I'm thinking, I know he doesn't want to let it go. Yeah. But a dangerous moment there for Kaskie, but I guess for a dangerous guy like him, that's no big deal at the rate he's been playing so far.
He's playing on the edge, that's for sure, man.
First half there. 7 seconds left here. Time for one more play for the Tigers, and they'll get in that huddle in the timeout and trying to diagram one big one, and we'll be on the other side wondering whether we should shoot a linebacker or what we should do to stop it.
Or go back in a prevent defense.
And they are preventing. You can see Coach Babinski waving that backfield back. Kleha and Veach will be back there.
And the name of the game is do not let anybody behind you.
He brings Grayson out here wide left. And Porter is wide right as he goes back to pass. Under pressure almost immediately. He's looking for the screen pass to Richards, and that's going nowhere as the big man Ziegler also saw a screen and brings Richards down. And that's the end of the first half, ladies and gentlemen, with the score of Mount Carmel area 13 and the Tigers of Southern Columbia 6 in what, Wayne, is a fabulously played first half, as we had thought.
What did everybody say? This game was going to be a barn burner. No matter who touched the ball or who had the ball last, that's going to be who's going to win this game.
Yep. We'll be back momentarily with the stats from the first half and the second half of play, so stay tuned. Okay, gang, we're back here now to start the second half of play in this rockin' sockin' football game here. We have the first half stats. Wayne was down talking to Jose, and of course, some of these numbers are going to surprise you a little bit as we watch the first half. We knew that Veach was having a big evening again, as he had in the last two games, especially in that first half. But not quite as big as we had thought. So he's going to read those stats to us as the Tornadoes have gotten onto the field and are waiting for the Tigers to come down that long ramp onto the field. So Wayne, take her away.
Okay, if you remember in that first game, in the Wyomissing game, the first half, Jonathan had 124 yards. He comes back the next week against Panther Valley, bigger team, on our home field, 151 yards. Tonight, and I think John was geared up for this game. Every time you'd see in the paper about setting a school record and everything else, and he said he wants to do it at a big game. And when you take a look at the first half stats here, John Veach has carried the ball for 19 times for 163 yards. Ziegler 5 times for 23. In the rushing department, the Tornadoes carried the ball 26 times for a total of 184 yards already in the first half. In the passing department, we were 4 of 9 for 29 yards. Lentini 2 for 22. Matzura 1 for 7 out in the flat, and Medalis also 1 for 5 out in the flat. First downs 8. On the other side of the field for the Southern, we have the rushing department, 15 carries for 104 yards, and that a majority of that has to be from Kaskie, because Kaskie's 2 long runs here, and he's really showing how great of an athlete he really is. And in the passing department, 3 of 9 for 16. First downs for Southern, 4.
Well, what we saw here was a tight ball game, a lot of feeling out and find out where everybody is. We've seen Veach, though, truly having his way with the Tiger defense. That part we can't downplay. He's run hard. The Mount Carmel offensive line has controlled the Tiger defense for the most part. We've also seen the Tigers come up here, kind of move out of that wing T that they had stuck to for so long and had been so loyal with. They line up in a wing T formation a lot, but they're doing a lot of things that are a little different than what you normally see from a wing T offense here, and they need to, and it's working. They're trying to utilize their speed. The difference on that side of the ball, as you had said, is so far Kaskie. He is the big number one reason that they're in this ball game and they're so close. He is just one tough guy to bring down. He has a good head on his shoulders. He sees where he's out on the field, and he's thrown some nice passes. Now, the other thing we look at here in a tight game, and what also defines that first half on both sides of this ball, is missed opportunities. Mistakes in the form of penalties, especially on the Mount Carmel area side of the ball, but both of them have suffered a little bit from crucial penalties. But missed opportunities, guys wide open, not getting the ball to them, that kind of thing. And that's kind of defined the first half too. And that's exactly what a big football game brings you. Some outstanding, sterling plays, and a couple of plays that you're banging your head in the wall about when you look at them on the films on Monday. So if the first half is an indication of what we're going to see here in the second half, we're going to see Mount Carmel area continue to churn the ball on the ground, continue to whack at that defense and watch to see if it breaks. Southern has to be able to stop Veach. They have to. They need to do something. If he gains 100 yards in the second half, they've lost the ball game. That's a simple equation, and I'm sure they went over that at halftime.
And Coach Roth said that. He did say in a news article that if Veach hits his 244 yards, they will be in trouble for the evening. You have to give a lot of credit down there to the defense of Southern also. Mount Carmel had the ball turned away down either on the 30-yard line of Southern, the 20-yard line of Southern. I think 3 times in the first half. We were turned away, not in the red zone yet. We didn't get that far, but it was the 20 to 30 yard line, and we were turned away 3 times. They took the ball over on 4th down.
So we'll get ready to tee it up. Big Red will kick off to the Tigers. They will go on offense to start the second half, and we just expect an absolute fabulous half of football. Both sides of this stadium, the fans, and it is, I cannot emphasize that this is one big crowd of people here. They may have easily set a mark here, in fact, for a crowd here tonight, as it is an overflow crowd, and it is a vocal one.
Oh, definitely.
That kind of marks this series. Everyone out there cheering and yelling, and you can clearly know when one team or the other does something here. So
and everybody, I think, realized what type of game this was going to be from the beginning of the season. They knew both of these teams were coming in with some powerhouses, and they knew that both of these teams, a little different from the previous seasons, that both of these teams finally matched up toe-to-toe, player to player, and that this was going to be a barn burner right down to the very end.
And we'll get ready here, so strap your helmets on, folks, and get ready as Yasenchak knocks it down. He's going to hit the ground and bounce a little bit to Richards. It gets behind Richards, and he's immediately in trouble, and he's going to go down big. Lentini got him off his feet, and then a host of, and I noticed I used that football word, host. A host of Mount Carmel players bring him down, but Southern Columbia now forced to start this first half in poor field position at their 13-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 Tigers.
And I'll tell you what, that was all because of the way Vince kicked the ball. That ball was a knuckler going down there. It wasn't spinning over nothing. When it hits the ground.
Back when he hits Richard in motion, he hands it to Trometer right up the middle, and Trometer finds an opening. He's hit hard down there by
Cuff. Veach was down low, and Cuff hits him up high.
But a nice run by Trometer. He looked like he was stopped at the line of scrimmage almost there, and when it's all said and done, he gained a 1st down. So it's 1st and 10 for the Tigers, and that it didn't look like a whole lot, but he managed to turn out about 11 yards there for Trometer. This time it's Chickatano on the handoff, and Chickatano is going to be stopped for a gain of about 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for the Tigers.
Matzura, number 21, making the initial hit back in the backfield. Again, some safe plays. Nothing fancy in the backfield for Southern. All it is just some straight dives. That first one, the Trometer picks up 1st down, now to Chickatano.
This time he goes to Richards around the end, and Richards is going to be brought down short of the 1st down, over the 30-yard line to the 33-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and short yardage now. 3rd down and about a yard. Again, 2 yards.
I'll tell you what, Coach Roth is really mixing up the plays here in this series. He ran one to the straight dive right up the middle, another one to the left, and now this one more to the outside.
So 3rd and 2 now from the 33. This time it's Richard. He's got everybody in front of him, and he's going to skid his way. Yeah, you're right. Very close to the 1st down. I think he's going to get it.
Yeah, I think he did too.
It is. It's a 1st down as he brings the ball over the 35 to just about the 36-yard line, as the Tigers now string 2 1st downs together in a row in a hurry here to start the second half.
I'll tell you what, some good blocking in front of him that time, in front of Richards. I'll tell you what, if we didn't make that sweeping tackle, he would have been picking up some more yardage, just 2 yards.
Chickatano on the carry. Chickatano is going to be brought down very quickly in there. Number 40, Ziegler, on the tackle. Chickatano will pick up just about 2 yards on the play. It'll bring a 2nd down and 8 for the Tigers.
Again, we move to the right side. Take a look at what Southern's doing. Again, there's no deception back there. It's not a true wing tee that we're used to seeing in the last couple of years. Watch their offensive backfield. Now this set is.
This time he keeps it. He's going to look downfield and pass, and he's got he had Dillo on great coverage that time. I'm trying to see who he was trying to. He was
Grayson.
15 down there, Grayson. Dillo could not have covered it any better. And again, a nice pass that time by Kaskie. He can air that thing out when he wants to. It'll bring up a 3rd down now and a 9. I'd say third down and 9 now for the
See, now
Tigers.
they picked up a first down. They ran Chicatano to the right-hand side, and they were looking to catch Dillo looking in the backfield. That's what they actually were doing. They were running Grayson deep as far as they can, but Dillo never bit. Dillo stayed there and never went for the fake.
Big 3rd and 9 now for Kaskie as he brings them up. Matt puts Richards in motion. He keeps it on, and they're going to pass. He looks downfield. He's going to get in trouble, and this time the big guy, Bucher takes him down along with some help from Ziegler that time, and Kaskie could not do one of his great escape acts.
Yeah.
And that will turn the ball over. And you look at the replay here.
Watch Brown here. Brown actually pushes him out of the pocket there initially, number 31. Right. And that gave him enough time. I'm sorry.
That's 21.
That was Matzura.
Yeah, Matzura came through.
Excellent play by Matzura.
Richards back to punt, and he booms one out of there. He's heading in the direction of Kleha, and this one's a big one. As Kleha catches it and going to be right along the sideline. He had nowhere to go as he'll be pushed out of bounds right at the Mount Carmel area 26-yard line. Will be 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes, but Richards cranked one off the foot that time.
Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, you don't see many high school punts like that. That spiraled as soon as it left his foot, and it shot up above the light standards. Didn't give Kleha much time to react after he caught the ball and was taken out of bounds.
So we'll answer a big question right here now as we talked at halftime. What will the Tigers do to stop Veach? And they must put him down more often than they had, or they're going to be in trouble, as he has run wild on them in the first half. And directly to Veach again on a pitch out, and he cuts back upfield, and he's going to make it up to about the 31-yard line, where the big guy, number 71, Mike Schaffler, finally corrals him along with some help from 79, Nick Fisher.
I'll tell you what. That's a deep set for Veach. And what we do is we pitch back to Veach, and Veach picks where he wants to go. He waited for Cuff to come over and put a crushing block on the defensive end, and as soon as he did, Veach took off towards and then cut back towards the center again, picked up 6 yards.
Yeah, it's about 5 where they place it. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 5, but he churns out 5 yards of carry right now as he is so far unstoppable. This time, Ziegler, the fullback, goes in motion, and this time we don't get number 50. And that time, Jason Mills catches us in the backfield. And the key to that play, we talked about it in the first half, is number 50. You got to block him. And that time, no one touched him, and Veach couldn't get around him. Veach is going to lose yardage on the play, and it's going to bring up now a 3rd down and about 9, or along 8. The way they placed the ball back at the Mount Carmel 27-yard line.
The problem was we couldn't get our pulling guard over there in time for Veach to cut back towards him a little bit.
Back to pass. We got a blitz going here. Shinskie looks. He's going to get Kleha, and he does. Kleha's going to take the pass down at the Mount Carmel area 37-yard line. Good enough for the 1st down, and that was a pretty play by Shinskie as he was moving around in the pocket a little bit and then finally stopped dead, planted his foot, and threw a bullet to Kleha.
And the best part about it, Kleha hooked, and when he hooked, he came up towards the ball. That's what you're supposed to do. Come back 2 yards.
Absolutely.
Your defender cannot get to that ball at all. But Dave's passes on that play, on that pattern, are perfect. They're down around the knees. They cannot be intercepted or cannot be blocked.
1st and 10 for the Tornadoes. Flag down, the big guy, Brown, with the ball, but flags went down, and again, we have continued a pattern here in the second half of penalties. It's the 7-minute mark, 7 minutes and 4 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter, and this will go against Big Red. They'll march back 5 yards and once again bring up a 1st and 15. And we have been snake bit with penalties. I will say that about us tonight.
I'll tell you what, Brown was on a roll. Dave was on a roll that time, number 31. I don't think Southern expected him to be carrying the ball like that.
Clock starts. We pass through that 7-minute mark as Shinskie brings them up with a 1st and 15, and we've seen 1st and 15 a number of times here tonight.
Now we still have Brown in there as the blocking fullback.
This time we go to Veach. Veach cuts it up
to the outside.
Continues to keep moving. Number 41 on the play. Nate Chicatano making the stop for the Tigers, but not before Veach once again turns up big yardage. Picks up a 7-yard gain. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 8.
I'll tell you what, Brown's out there, and he plays nose guard for us. He played there last year in and out. But I'll tell you what, being a blocking fullback, he has some speed on him. He really he got out in front of Veach, and, he helped out. We had the pulling guard. We kicked the defensive end out, and Veach cut right up behind him.
Again to Veach. Veach picking his hole as he's going to continue to move. Big number 79, Nick Fisher on the stop, along with help from 34. That's Jason Brobston on the play, and Veach moves the ball up to the Mount Carmel area 44-yard line. It's going to bring up a third down and about a long 4 for the first down as Mount Carmel area continues to stay for the most part on the ground and continues to churn yardage up offensively.
Well, we'll see again. Now, this isn't as close to, 2 yards, the short down yardage that we had picked up before. Are we going to kick Veach to the outside? And
flip it to Veach, and we do, and Veach is going to cut up field.
Ooh,
and he's going to be stopped very close, and I'm trying to see where this guy puts it down. It may be a first down, to tell you the truth. He needed a long 4, and depending where they set it at, it may be. They'll measure it, I'm sure.
And again, I'll tell you what, take a look at the shifting that's going on that.
No, they won't.
At the Southern defense. We put the wide slot over there, and we did run the last time to the wide side of the field like that, and they shifted their whole defense. They got out of their 4-4, and they brought their defense, their linebacker back into the slot.
Okay, let's set this up now. It's 4th and 1, gang. We're in our own territory, and Coach Brennan decides to go for it as he gives the Veach, and Veach picks it up, and there's some confidence, ladies and gentlemen. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a big football play in this ball game. As Coach Brennan said, that's it. We're going to do it. We're in our own territory, 4th and 1, and he pops it over midfield, and Veach picks it up for him all the way down to the Tiger 48. But that could be a moment to look back on.
Yep. When you look at that replay, take a look at how hard John ran through the line that time. There was nobody going to stop him before he made that first down.
Well, 1st and 10 for Big Red as Shinskie brings him up.
We got Johnny Kerpich over here wide right.
This time again to Veach as they keep going. They're going to stop Veach this time at the line of scrimmage. Big number 50 on the play for the Tigers, and that's Mills, the linebacker. He made the stop. A flag flew in the middle. It's going to go against the Tigers, I believe, and it's going to be unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
And that's a big penalty, very big penalty. As I'm not sure what sparked that little thing. But
I don't know either.
We saw them flying there, and that is not what Coach Roth wanted to see happen at this juncture of the ball game.
And you see the referee, as soon as it happened, that flag was out and it was gone. They're going to control this game. Sometimes you get into a game like this and they say, well, the tensions are high, everything else, and they let you play a little bit more than maybe what they should. This time, this referee, as soon as he's seen something, that was it. That flag came out and went up in the air.
Well, the big penalty on the unsportsmanlike call pushes the ball down to the Tiger 33-yard line, where it's 1st and 10, Mount Carmel area. Shinskie looking to pass. He's under pressure, and this time he's going to go down. Number 86, that's Bradley Sones for the Tigers, and Sones made penetration and got a hold of Shinskie, pushing the ball all the way back to the Southern 45-yard line. A big loss on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd down now, and second down about 22 or 23 yards. Yeah. 23 it's going to end up being when they set it down and I get to count on my fingers all the yards. So 2nd and 23 now, back on the 45-yard line of the Tigers. Is a big defensive play by Bradley Sones. And we're in a shotgun formation now. And the ball goes
through the leg, flag on the play.
And we're going to call number 86 as Sones' number again. He's had 2 big plays in a row as the flag goes up in the air immediately. The center pass back to Shinskie went through his legs. It was kind of on the ground as it went by him.
Now we got another flag. We had a flag down here, and they just threw one over there.
Not sure we're going to play. First, we're going to place it down to where he actually went down at, because it was closer than where they were standing. They declined the penalty. There is only one penalty on the play. They declined it because of the big loss. And now it's going to be 3rd down, and oh my goodness.
Half a mile?
How much is a half a mile exactly? It's going to be third down and too long to think about, to tell you the truth, as we have once again self-destructed down deep in Tiger territory. And there you have it. It's third down, ladies and gentlemen, 35 for the first down, as Big Red has run amiss a little bit here on offense, as Shinskie now will drop back into pass formation and hand it to Veach right up the middle on a safe play, as Veach brings it back up to the Mount Carmel area, 48-yard line, where it'll be fourth down, and Shinskie will go back in punt formation. Not again our prettiest offensive series there. We had one ugly one in the first half, and now we have one here in the second half with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the third quarter, and this is a very fast third quarter.
Oh yes, it is. It's amazing. One or two penalties stopped the clock here, but that was about it.
Nice high kick, not very long, but high, and it's going to bounce out of bounds down along the sidelines right at the Southern Columbia 32-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers in good field position at their 32.
Well, again, the defense has to step up again, to put some pressure on Southern. They've done an excellent job up to this point. I saw Josh on that long pass play down here to the right when Dave was tackled. He came off. I think he has some leg cramps down there, but he's back in on defense.
Walking kind of tenderly there, but he is back in there as Kaskie brings them up. Kaskie dropped the ball, and it's live. Cuff has fallen on it. It went right through Kaskie's legs as he turned. Cuff recovers the ball, and just like that, Mount Carmel area sets itself back up on offense down at the Southern Columbia area 25-yard line.
I think the Tornadoes really have to sort of
Here's the replay. You saw it quickly win in the replay where the ball just squirted through. But you're right. The point is we need to do something now.
What they have to do is they have to settle down, concentrate on the snap. No more penalties for the rest of the game. They're getting too many opportunities that they're letting go.
This time we give it to Veach around the end. Veach continues to keep churning yardage out there. Again, number 79 and 79, Nick Fisher and John Veach are going to know each other very well before this game is over, as Fisher has made the last 3 or 4 tackles on John, but not before he's picked up, again, 5 yards. Each time he touches it, it's about 5 yards. So,
and again, they're getting down to that area where we can sort of, get into the playbook a little bit more.
Minute 26 remaining here in the third quarter. 2nd down and 5 as Shinskie brings him up, and he's got that big house backfield. He's going to tell Veach to run behind it. Veach is going to squirt there for a little bit, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards on the play.
He's going to be close to the first down.
Number 71 and number 70, both in the 71 Schaffler for the
You see John's
Tigers.
instincts first was to look to the outside, and he was trying to kick to the outside that time and get over that hash mark. But the defensive end over there for Southern, I have to give him some credit. Conahan had kicked him back to the inside, and John tried to cut across the grain and almost did it, almost broke it.
3rd down and 2, and the Red Tornadoes, I know, are gonna be close to this clock. It's 3rd and 2. Yep. They've got to call timeout. They do not have the time. They do not have the time to call this play.
No.
Every single person in the stands over here was calling timeout. They knew they had let it go way too long.
Yeah. Coach Verano and Coach Painter were up here, and they were screaming.
One of them fell out of the booth.
Yeah, they were screaming into the headsets that, to call timeout. They knew exactly what was going on.
A little shaky here getting the ball off, and that's something I'm sure Coach Brennan's going to talk about next week before a big game coming up. But we have not been our sharp selves here offensively as we're looking. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2. This is 2-down territory. We got 2 to make this 2. Obviously, we're not going to be punting down here. Time is getting precious now. There are 34 seconds left in the third period. A touchdown here would be very difficult for the Tigers to overcome, as this has been such a tightly played ball game on both sides of the ball. So we'll see what transpires here. But the center snap fumble, really a killer for the Tigers here in the third period. They were doing so well there and actually had some momentum. But let the ball squirt through and whatever, you never know what happens on a center snap and how that kind of thing happens. But
you get into this time of the evening, the ball gets wet, and like you said, it just went right through Kaskie's legs, and he couldn't even turn around. Cuff was on that ball so quick. He was on a blitz to begin with.
Well, we come out of this timeout. Coach Brennan had his say in that huddle as Shinskie brings him up. He's got the big house backfield there. And he gives it to Veach, and Veach is going to run and get the first down. He's going to pick the first down up as he goes over the 15 down to the 14-yard line, where it is now signaled 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes at the 14.
Yeah, now you see, here comes Dave Brown's out, and we got Matzura back in a little bit. And it does lend to more of an open playbook when we get back in here. Dave goes in, and he's primarily in there between him and Ziegler, is blocking backs for Veach to pick up that 5 yards for the first down.
Shinskie brings up. This is the last play of the third period here, folks, as he pitches to Veach around the end. He's got Ziegler out there, and Veach is going to pound down and pick up his normal 5 yards. And that will bring the third quarter to an end, ladies and gentlemen, with the score of Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes 13 and the Tigers of Southern Columbia area 6, as we will change the exact opposite end of the field and trot all the way down there. But this is a crucial moment in the ball game for both squads, as Southern, as we said earlier, Southern cannot allow them a touchdown. You are, while we're in this quarter change, reminding you that you are listening to WKMC TV. We are broadcasting directly from the campus at Mount Carmel Area High School, and we are, of course, an instructional fixed television service. You catch us every Wednesday night during the football season on Channel 13, courtesy of the Service Electric Cable System, and we're on at 8 p.m. And remember, Mount Carmel Area is live in the morning. You want to catch everybody in the morning and see them about 7 a.m. or so when they go on and give you the news of all 7:30. I'm sorry. See, that's what happens when they can hear me there now. 7:30 a.m. and catch all the news of the day at Mount Carmel area and catch up on what sporting events are transpiring and also what kind of academic events are out there that you might want to catch. It'll also give me a chance real quick to run down the people who make this whole thing possible. On the main camera tonight is Amy Hampton. The field cameras are Josh Yeager, Joe McGinley, and Krista Petruskevich. Cable grips are Paul Walters and Jesse McPhee. Still photography is David Elson, Tara Goodlunas, and master controller is my main man, JoJo Gushin. And, of course, Dave McPhee, who bungee cords this whole thing together every Friday night. So we trot out there with the 1st and 10 on the...
No, second and 4.
2nd and 4, and the ball is on the... I'm sorry, no.
Ball's on the
2nd and 4, the ball's on the 8. See, you changed the field, you confused me. This time we hand it to Ziegler right up the middle.
Oh,
and Ziegler's in for the touchdown.
Oh, come on, guy, he had it. He reached out for that one. Ziegler almost had that.
They're going to stop him at the 1-inch line, ladies and gentlemen, but I saw his hand go over there. But
definitely.
They'll say his knee went down, but you can't be any closer to the goal line as he was.
Hey, what a call, though. It's Veach. Here comes the replay.
You're going to see a replay come up here real quick and see how close he was. And you can see where he ended up. I'm not sure how that wasn't a touchdown, but they make the call. But it is, ladies and gentlemen, 1st and inches. And Mount Carmel area has stung itself with another penalty.
Yeah, down on the 1 foot line. Oh, good gracious. That's one thing that you don't want to do. But let's go back to that play again. All the third period, it was all John Veach all over the place. We did try one time to get Brown up, but we did have that penalty there. And now, what a great play. We put John Veach in motion, looking like it's a pitch, and we give it to Ziegler off tackle or off guard to the left-hand side. Excellent call and great running and blocking by the line and great running by Ziegler.
Now that non-touchdown call comes in the big play as we took a 5-yard penalty all the way back to the 5. Veach is going to cut back, but he's going to be stopped by number 71. Actually put the first hit on him, and that's Mike Schaffler. He'll just catch over down to about the 4-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 4 for the touchdown. 2nd and goal from the 4.
Take a look at Southern's defense, everybody. They're bringing everybody up to the back of the line. They have 5 guys. This is their goal line defense right here. They don't have anybody deep.
Right to Veach again. This time Veach continues to churn out there. And this time, number 86, the big guy, has him in his hands, and that's Bradley Sones. And once again, he's come up big here in the second
Yes,
half.
he has.
Sones is having himself a ball game on the defensive side of the ball for Southern. We'll wait and see where they place the ball down, and it really was no gain. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 4, and that non-touchdown is now even a bigger bigger call than it was originally. 3rd and 4 as Big Red comes up to the line of scrimmage. We got Ziegler and Veach in a split backfield. We didn't go to the big one there. And he pitches it to Veach and heads for the corner.
To the outside.
And Veach will put it in. Number 13 for the Tigers, Kaskie, did his best to try to swerve him out there, but Veach had too much speed, and Veach turns the corner and puts a 4-yard touchdown in for the Red Tornadoes. You'll see the replay shortly. Watch him make the turn, and watch Kaskie just come up and barely get to him. There's Kaskie, but he could not get the right angle on him, and Veach goes in at the 10-minute and 1 second mark of the 4th quarter. And the score now 19-6 with Yasenchak ready to tee it up. And it got tipped at the line. It's no good. So we have not been very successful in the extra point department, but the score now 19 for the Red Tornadoes and 6 for the Tigers with 10 minutes remaining in this ball game.
That play there is almost unstoppable with John Veach. First of all, the ball was on the left hash mark, so that gives John so much room to run to.
Yeah.
He only has to pick up 4 yards, and he's just cutting for the flag. As soon as he crosses over the goal line, that's it. And like you said, Kaskie doesn't make that hit there. He's cleaning in.
And Kaskie didn't have the angle, and that's just what it is. It's all about angles on that when you have 4 yards and a wide field. And he just didn't have enough of an angle. He touched them, and he got at his foot. But you got to do more than that, first of all, to bring John Veach down at any given time. But John Veach having a spectacular evening, ladies and gentlemen. He said before the game that he wanted to. He said that those 200-yard games in the beginning of the season were something that he was proud of, but he wanted to do against a big team and a good team, and there's nobody better on the field right now than the Tigers, and he is running up some big yardage. And it's really had a fantastic night for him as the big man, number 6, kicks it off, and he's going to send it down to Richards, number 32, right at the 10-yard line. And Richards comes up the field. Dillo's going to actually be the guy that brings him down. A couple of guys are in there, but Dillo had the hit as he tried to turn upfield. And the Tigers will take it over here, 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line with just under 10 seconds remaining in the ball game. And we'll see what the Tigers have in store for us here as they now probably have to take to the air a little bit more than we had seen.
I was just going to, then more than we've seen. In the second quarter, I think just about every possession that they had, Warren, they were throwing the ball. But I think you're right. Now they're back on their heels and they have to pass the ball.
They pitch it out quick to Shikatano. Shikatano cuts it upfield. He's going to take it up to about the 35-yard line. Picks up about 3 yards in the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 7 for the Tigers. And again, that's a good call. No panic.
No.
You can't panic. There's a lot of time left in this ball game. But in the back of your mind, time now becomes the factor.
Definitely.
You got to think about it all the time. And I'm sure they are. So you can't, it's not where you can just keep churning yardage on the ground now and expect to win the game unless you have some big plays.
Well, defensively, I think the Tornadoes have stymied their offense a little bit.
This time Kaskie, this time Ziegler.
Not this time.
Ziegler, Brown, and Shoppy all over him, but Ziegler was the key to that play. That time he saw it coming.
Yep.
He stood in there, he turned, he took the blocker down, he caused the backlog, and then the other 2 guys brought him down. But the play there was Ziegler.
And that's what he
finally
needs
played
to do.
it well there as Kaskie couldn't get around him.
Yeah, you can't worry about your own body on that. And that's what makes a great defensive end. You just take on those 2 lead blockers and you wipe them out.
3rd and 7 now for the Tigers. He goes back into pass formation. He's looking downfield, and he's got the big guy, number 26, Conahan. Veach put a vicious hit on Conahan, but he holds on to the ball, and Conahan looks back and says, nice hit. And that's the kind of kid that he is. I mean, there's a true competitor. He took a whack from Veach, but it's a 1st down for the Tigers all the way up at the Tiger 45-yard line, and the Tigers are moving here in the 4th quarter. You like to see that when he looks back like that.
Yeah.
He says nice hit, you know.
Sportsmanship.
That's what you like to see. This time Kaskie under pressure. He had a blitz going there. 85 Dillo. Dillo could not have been in better position. Kaskie was probably not in his best position to throw as we blitzed the linebacker and nearly brought him down. So it changed his throwing a little bit. But he was dead on
yes, he was.
Grayson, and Dillo just was all over him.
I mean, an excellent pass. Kaskie was running for his life there because after Matzura got done with him, Ziegler started chasing him, and he threw that ball on the run. It was right on target. But I'll tell you what, Dillo made one heck of a play.
This time Kaskie goes back to pass. Now he flares it out to Richards, and Richards is in trouble. He tries to go up the middle, and he does, and he drops it, but he recovers it, and he moves the ball up to about the 48-yard line for a 3-yard gain, although there was a lot more action on that play than 3 yards would indicate. But it'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 for the Tigers as he actually made a great play because he was going to lose about 5 yards, and he cut what you normally don't do, is right into the middle of the crowd, but he kept churning there, and he kind of turned his body, and he picked up 3 yards. So a nice play by Richards, although it wouldn't seem that way when you see the amount of yardage. 3rd and 7 now for the Tigers from their own 48-yard line as he sends Richard in motion. And he's back to pass again. He's going to be looking for the big guy down there. And Veach, oh my goodness, what a defensive play by John Veach.
Veach read that all the way.
Veach will take it down to the Tiger 31-yard line, but that had to be one of the best defensive plays of the game.
Watch the replay on this one. Veach sits back until the very last minute on this play, and he steps right in front to make the reception. Some nice play there.
That was athleticism at its very finest.
They were going to Chickatano on that one, number 41 out on that flat. But Veach just, that was incredible. And again, I can't say this enough. That's what the free safety is supposed to do. He makes sure.
Another penalty on Big Red. We did not have a player leave the field fast enough. That's 5 yards. We will start 1st and 15 again after a big play. And this is something I'm sure we're going to look at in the coming weeks, is what has happened here as far as management of who's in and out of the game. We're going to send the guy into the lineup quickly.
When Dallas is going in,
one takes
two.
Is
Coming out.
So there's 7 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in this ball game. Mount Carmel area has the ball at the Southern area Tiger 41-yard line.
We call timeout now.
They lead 19-6, and we're having I don't know what we're having now. Is that a timeout just from us there, or?
It's a timeout. Dave called a timeout. I don't know if we're having an equipment problem over there or what the problem is.
Shinskie's back in the huddle now as Mount Carmel breaks the huddle with a 1st and 15. All kinds of confusion to get this play finally going. I hope it's a dandy after we spend so much time doing it. Hand off to Veach. He cuts the other way, still on his feet as he crosses
he's still
over.
going. He got to the outside, Warren.
He's outside, and it's going to take Conahan to bring him down, all the way down at the Southern Columbia 19-yard line. And Mount Carmel area now has taken control of this football game as Veach has just been phenomenal. This will be his greatest game of his career so far, as he is unstoppable. I can hardly wait to see the end of this game and see what those stats finally end up at. But he is running wild on the Southern defense now. It's 1st and 10, ball sitting just inside the 20-yard line of the Tigers. And we go right up the middle with Ziegler. And look at Ziegler pile driving now. Ziegler's going to be brought down by Conahan and number 72 in there. And 72, unfortunately, Fox will bring him down, but not only after Ziegler carried him for a while.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, on some of these runs by John, and that last one especially, the line, that was going to the left side. And the line on the right-hand side had blew everybody back.
Right.
Enough for John to cut back against the grain and pick up all that yardage.
So pick up a 4 by Ziegler. It's 2nd and 6, and Shinskie missed the hand. Go down, Dave. That's what you got to do. Completely blown play that time by the Red Tornadoes as Shinskie turned, or Veach turned. I don't know which one of them turned the wrong way, but you can see he was in trouble from the start. It'll bring a loss on the play, a big loss on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 13 now for the Red Tornadoes. And I'll tell you the truth, I do not want to be in the film room when this baby's over, win or lose, whatever it ultimately ends up at, because we just had we probably had every mistake in the book going here this week.
And we're still leading the game.
Maybe we're getting them out of our system or something, but it's been one ugly week here for the little things. You know, it's not anything real big, but the little things are hurting.
Those little things are hurting you.
So Shinskie brings him up, and this time he hands it to Veach deep in the backfield, and Veach will take it back over the 20 and return it down to about the 19-yard line.
Carrying, a couple.
Well, he has Fox once again. Fox making the play that time.
He's having a heck of a second half, number 72. Fox is really, how many
Fox
tackles?
and Sones actually have really stepped it up here.
In the second half.
In the second half, we've called their number many times. Actually, 78, and 78's had an all-around good ball game. Fisher. Oh, Fisher. I'm sorry, I'm 79, Fisher. You're right, 78's Leffler. 79 Fisher, he had himself a ball game start to finish defensively. He's really had a stellar game there on the line. As Shinskie now drops back to pass, we look at Kleha. Kleha's going to catch the ball. Where it is, I can't tell because it's way on the other side. We'll wait to see where the referee stops walking, and he's going to stop at the...
It's their ball. They take over. On
it was a fourth down. He stops around the 10. So they turn the ball over, but they churn a lot of time out. There are now 5 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in this ball game. Mount Carmel area out to a 19-6 lead over the Tigers. And now, unfortunately, the Tigers must alter their offense if they're going to stay in the football game. We're not going to churn it out on the ground. We're going to see a lot of passing going on here. And they have not been very successful passing tonight. 2 interceptions, not a lot of completion. So this is crunch time now for Kaskie and to see what he can do pushing the ball down the field. We blitz right up the middle. Kaskie's in trouble immediately by Matzura, and he gets it out to number 2 out there, and he hits him actually for about a 5-yard gain. Matt Porter, and that was, again, Kaskie is so elusive. So Porter picks up 5 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 5. The clock was running, although I thought he got out of bounds. I'm never sure why that happens. I thought he went out of bounds on the play, but...
number 69, Cuff comes out. Cuff, I think he's cramping up a little bit. Damian Buggy, number 29, is going in at the defensive end position for Cuff.
Kaskie looks over that way. He's going to turn it right to Porter again. And Veach will bring Porter down right at the southern 25-yard line. And that will be enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 Tigers. And that's the kind of plays you need. You got to keep. You want to keep them in bounds. That's what Mount Carmel area wanted. But Southern wants to move the ball, and they are nice short passes.
And like you said, they do have enough of time. They're down 13. They're down 2 scores. They score onside kick. You never know what's going to happen in a football game. But again, the Tornadoes' defense have definitely stepped it up, I think, in this second half. We've seen Dillo covering Grayson like a glove this second half. Southern had tried, Cascade tried to go to him, to Grayson a number of times right from the kickoff of the second half and has been unsuccessful. Kaskie has been, although pressured a little bit more in the second half here by the line, he is eluding everybody, but they're forcing him out of the pocket and doing something that he might not be used to, and that is throwing on the run, not staying in the pocket and setting up and throwing. And that does make a big difference, especially in high school.
So Southern brings it up 1st and 10, 4 minutes, 18 seconds remaining here in the ball game. And he's got Grayson and Porter split wide as he looks quick over, and he looks at number 15, Grayson, and he's got him. And Grayson's going to be taken down at the 31-yard line. He did not get out of bounds as Dillo would not let him out, and the clock continues to click, and that's the danger. And Southern has gone to a no-huddle offense.
Richards had come out into the flat with Grayson, so Dillo was a little perplexed on who to take that time. That's why he was open a little bit. Look at this.
He got Richards, and Richards is going to take it in, and that is an absolutely Kaskie again. Kaskie makes the play that time. Ziegler was all over him. Kaskie sends the ball down, and we had stopped because we thought we had Kaskie in the backfield. Richards kept running behind him. He bobbled it, but Richards makes a fabulous catch and a run, and just like that, the Tigers are back in the ball game. It's 19-12 as we set up for the extra point. You'll see the replay and watch Ziegler. He has him cornered. Kaskie's on the run, and he throws it off balance, leaping in the air, but Richards is far enough behind us that no one can catch him. And they're going to go for 1 point here, a crucial 1-point play here at the 3:42 mark of the ball game. And he didn't get it. I thought for a second he did, but he didn't. And that's a crucial miss there, as the score will now be Mount Carmel area 19, the Tigers of Southern Columbia 12. And we'll tee this thing up again and see what happens. It's just been a knockdown, drag-out football game, as we had expected from the start.
Definitely. And I told you, anything can happen in this football game. You can't let up. You're talking about a touchdown here. With 3 minutes and 42 seconds, you might see an onside kick. I don't know if it's that late into the game yet, but the Tornadoes have been moving the ball. And like, as you said, we did chew up a lot of time on the clock there in the last possession. So, you don't know what Southern is going to do. Are they going to kick deep and try to keep us in the hole, or are they going to kick short and look to pick up a fumble?
I think we're going to onside kick.
I do too.
We have a man down in the middle there, and I'm not sure. He's just standing there. I wasn't sure what he did.
Looks like Dave. I think we're sort of cramping up. That's Josh Kleha.
Oh, Kleha. Okay, I couldn't see the number. I mean, he was just standing there, and then he knelt down, and I saw the referee looking at him. And then he kind of waved at him, and we brought the trainers on. But time is out at the moment here as they attend to Kleha, and he's right, and it's what it is. He just his calf cramped right in the middle of the field there as he was standing there. So he's going to have to come off, and they'll replace him. And they're looking now to see who they want to put in there to replace him. Is it Dara now is Dara the guy in for him?
I don't know.
I get to who. He comes off, but you can see how he's walking. His leg is stiff now, and the cramps have...
Well, we have Jared Pilarski, number 42, back with John Veach deep.
So, I'm sorry. Oh, all right. Then it'll be Pilarski that takes his place as he drops back.
Right.
Pilarski, a junior. And they'll tee it up, and it'll be interesting to see what we decide to do there, as big number 72, Mike Fox, is going to be the one that kicks it. So that's what I wonder what we're doing. And he kind of squibs it down there.
Get on it. He touched his knee touched down.
Yeah, he was down. That's what. Either that or he would have been tackled by all of our guys, because the only guys around him was us. But he had actually knelt down when he picked the ball up, and that blew the ball dead right at the 29-yard line of the Red Tornadoes, where they take over 1st and 10. And their intent here is to gain some yardage, gain 2 first downs or so, and try to run this clock out, because you do not want to put the ball back in Matt Kaskie's hands. He has been superhuman tonight.
Yeah, he's the team tonight. He's really doing an excellent job for Southern, either running or passing the ball.
Give it to Veach. He's going to follow Ziegler, and Veach still on his feet.
Outside.
And Veach down the sideline. Conahan, once again, has to make the tackle, but not before Veach crosses the midfield. Watch the replay as it comes up. But the ball all the way down at the Tiger 42-yard line, and John Veach may have set the all-time record.
Yeah, look at this. Hey, you got Matzura over there blocking, and he did. He trapped into the inside, and look at John Veach down the sidelines.
Yeah, I don't want to say that officially, but I'm telling you, I believe he may have broken the all-time rushing yardage for a single game here.
There goes Ziegler.
Look at Ziegler. Ziegler pounding his way up. It takes Chicatano to bring him down, but not before he gets all the way down to the Southern Columbia 33-yard line, where it's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 1.
Some nice plays here. Some great blocking too. I think the offense has now realized that they need to step it up a little bit with only 3 minutes left.
Down the 2:46 mark, Clark continues to run as Mount Carmel area now into Southern territory and moving as they give it to Ziegler once again. And he's going to take Mike Fox head on and cross over the 30-yard line down to the Southern 29-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes. And this is exactly what the Tigers did not want to have happen to them.
Yeah, some good blocking there on the left side of that Tornado line with Shoppy over there and Cuff, number 69, just to pick up enough room for Ziegler. He's watching the clock.
Give it to Veach. Veach will follow Ziegler. Now he's outside. And this time, number 34, Jason Brobst, gets an angle and brings him down. He's going to drop a couple of yards there as he goes back down on our side of the 30-yard line at the 31. It'll bring up a second down and about 11 as he lost about a yard on the play.
Yeah, Nate Richards. That gave Richards enough time to come up from his corner position to also make the stop.
So a timeout on the field now with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. I believe who called that timeout, did you see?
I did not see.
There's two of us up here, and we still don't know who calls the timeout once in a while. What are we doing up here? So this is it, folks. This is what this whole ball game has come down to. This is what we thought it would come down to. You got a 7-point lead by the Red Tornadoes. They're deep in Tiger territory. The clock is running out. The Tigers need to desperately stop them, and then all you got to do is stop them because you got to wonder what Kaskie has in store. Okay, the truck just told me that it was a Southern timeout, so I'm not sure how many they have left here in the second half, but they are precious now as they need to not only stop us, but then move down very quickly from where they are. So we'll see what's in store as a second down and 11 for the Red Tornadoes as Shinskie brings them up. And I don't think this is going to be real fancy. This is going to be Ziegler or Veach.
Ziegler or Veach, yeah. I think it's going to be Veach to the left-hand side. He's got a wide open field over on this side.
He does, and Veach is going to be brought down instantly. Fumble, and it's a fumble.
Southern
has recovered. They have recovered the football. You're right.
On the 33, about the 33-yard line.
Watch the replay here. We'll see what happened because he was in the scrum there trying to figure. Hey, he just got stripped of the ball. I didn't see who did it, unfortunately, but Mount Carmel has turned the ball over. That's the worst-case scenario for them. Minute 59 in the ball game, and Mr. Kaskie now has some time to play. Immediately drops back to pass. He looks for Porter over here, and he's got him. Porter's heading for the sideline, but he didn't get there. He picks up about 5 yards on the play, but they're going to no huddle because they're running out of time.
But the thing of it is, he got it down 5 yards, and it sort of opens up your playbook a little bit. He's got to get him to the outside and kill the clock.
Back to pass again. This time Ziegler draws a beat on him. He puts it up in the air, and and Kleha nearly intercepts it. He was heading down there for 15, Grayson, and he made a nice pass, but he did throw it into double coverage as both Veach and Kleha had Grayson covered.
I think he heard some footsteps behind him. Ziegler was ready to lower his shoulder on him that time, but Kaskie did get the ball off.
The incompletion stops the clock at a minute 30, as you can see the scoreboard there. Third down now and 6 for the Tigers.
Now again, the key is nobody behind you.
They flare it out to Shikatano, and Shikatano goes down. I'll see where they finally mark him down, and they mark him down about the 44-yard line. So it's going to be a 1st and 10. That's enough for the first down where they're standing. It's 1st and 10 Southern, but I did not see where they actually called him out of bounds yet.
Yeah, they did.
They did?
Yeah, he got out of bounds. They killed the clock.
So this is it. I mean, everybody on the edge of their seat, everybody's watching this game. This is what it's all about.
Yep.
And we'll see if Mr. Kaskie can pull one out of the hat that he's done all night here and do something with it. We blitz up the middle. Matzura this time. This time Matzura has him. That was all Matzura on the play, all the way back down to the 35-yard line of the Tigers. And more importantly, the clock ticks until there. The Tigers have called the timeout.
It's got to be their last time.
Watch Matzura right up the middle, Wayne. Here he comes. You see him? Look at him.
There was a stunt in the middle, and there was no way that Kaskie was getting away from that time. Kaskie barely even turned away from the center, and Matzura was in on top of him. Now, the last two times, Kaskie was already out into the flat position, and he was already moving where he could do a little bit more sideline motion or cut up field or something like that. But that time, he was still going backwards when Matzura was on top of him. some great defensive stunt play also, because without the stunt play in the center, either crossing, and what they do, either they're going to pinch in or they're going to pinch out, and if they pinched out, they're giving Matzura enough of room to get through there. And you can see nobody was even there to block Matzura. He went in free.
The back saw him, but the back couldn't get to him. The back knew right away there was a problem, but he couldn't get over to him. The angle there was really off, and he was in the wash already. And because you had a big surge from the defensive line, but a big play by Matzura. It brings up a second down now and 19 for the Tigers. Again, Matzura, and this time they get a hold of him.
Oh, there's where he's killer.
Incomplete again. He was looking at Porter down there. Porter was well covered by Dillo. Yeah. And again, Veach was in the area, but Dillo really was the guy watching that play. It falls incomplete.
They had two guys down there. Richards was also in the same area. And again, what that does, it brings more defenders into that position, into that zone.
So 3rd and 19 now.
I'll tell you what, Kaskie gets away from Matzura again, and Ziegler was in. And what did everybody do? Everybody was holding their breath to see what that kid was going to do with that football.
So he brings him up with 1 minute 3 seconds remaining in the ball game. This time we do not blitz per se, as he's looking downfield at Conahan, and he was just outside of Conahan. Kleha on the coverage.
Yep.
But Conahan, now what we are looking at there, you see number 40 walking back in there, Wayne?
Yep.
We were not watching him. Or is that 40 or 41?
41, that's Chicatano.
Okay, 41, Chicatano. We did not watch him. Kaskie didn't see him, but he was running kind of free in the middle there. And I know that we're pointing at that. He might have been a little bit of a danger there, as Babinski now is yelling into the defensive backfield for Mount Carmel area. It's 4th down and 19. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, for all intents and purposes, the football game. He either makes a first down or scores the touchdown, or this game is over. We blitz up the middle there. Kaskie immediately in trouble and in the group. He's got Porter free, and he just couldn't get it as Kaskie got up, or Kleha got up in the air at the last minute and knocked it down. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it. There are 49 seconds remaining in the ball game. Mount Carmel area takes the ball over in Southern Columbia Tiger territory. And unless they screw it up by running the clock out, they will walk out here with a victory. But they will remember each play of this victory, because it was just a tough football game. Southern Columbia area is everything we heard and more of a football team, and they just played an unbelievable football game tonight.
Yeah, Kaskie, I'll tell you what, he was their whole team tonight. Yeah. He won at that game in the worst way. That kid did just about everything there possibly could be done to win this game for that team.
46 seconds and counting now. Southern Columbia cannot stop the clock. There'll be another play run. Shinskie will take another knee, and that will probably do it for us, as we will take our time and milk the entire clock here as we go. Shinskie again kneels down. The referee signals, and that's it. There are 11 seconds left in the ball game. They'll count it down. Both squads are now walking onto the field. You see the time running down on the big Tiger scoreboard here at Tiger Field. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The final score of the Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes 19. The Southern Columbia area Tigers 12. And that close score reflects the close game we watched tonight.
I'll tell you what, you read all the papers in the area, you know, some of the scores were just outrageous. In favor of one team or the other, it didn't matter. But I don't know what they were looking at, Warren, because you take a look at what both of these teams have done over the years, and this year, starting this season in the 3rd game, how both teams have played some outstanding football. And they have those top quality players. This proved on paper that it was a close one-touchdown game, either going to Southern or going to Mount Carmel.
Yep. And we saw here something that Coach Brennan said last night, and I know you hear it said by other people, and I know you hear a coaches say and all, but you heard a guy say last night, there's a lot of things going to happen out here. There's a lot of ways to win and lose the game. There's a lot of good players on the field. And he said, they got some speed this year, and they got Kaskie, and they got the big guy Conahan out there. All the things you got to stop. He said, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to bed tonight thinking, hey, you got to stop the best back in the state of Pennsylvania.
That's right.
And it was funny the way he said it, because he said, you got a kid back there. He said, like John, that can do what he can do. And he said, you feel pretty comfortable putting the ball in his hands. He said, if they're going to stop him, he said, then good. Then they walk off that field and say, we just stopped the best back in Pennsylvania, and we won the football game. He said, but if you don't win the football game. And that's exactly what happened. They were not able to stop John Veach. And again, I wish at this juncture we could tell you what his yardage is, but I firmly believe he may have broken the all-time record. We're waiting to see. You'll see that, of course, you said you know that already by now, but it's interesting to see if he did. If he did what he said he would do at the beginning of the year, that he certainly wanted to break that kind of yardage out in a big game against a quality football team. A couple things to say about Southern. That was one of the best played football games we've seen, and we've seen a great many of them with Southern. Other than the first one that was kind of a lopsided game, they have played extremely well. They are the number one ranked team in single A in the state of Pennsylvania. I guarantee you when that ranking comes out on Monday, they are still the number one ranked team in the state of Pennsylvania. They played as good as you can play and not win a football game. One thing I will say to them, and we say this every year when we play these guys, because it's there it is. It's 265 yards in the game for John Veach, and that is the all-time Mount Carmel area single-game rushing record stored tonight at Tiger Field. And that, ladies and gentlemen, think about the names. Think about the other Veach. Think about the Dimnicks. Think about the great running backs at Mount Carmel area, the Zvariks. Think about what happened here. He has broken the all-time single-game rushing record against the number one ranked team in the state of Pennsylvania in single A. So there it is. My hat's off. I will never be able to say enough good things about John Veach and the athlete that he is, although I'm going to continue to try for the rest of the season. We will never be able to do that. But getting quickly back to Southern, when we look at them, they're kneeling across the field. Coach Roth has now the job to tell them that you played as well as you could. There's no shame. There's no nothing in this. You just did what you had to do, and you came up short. They will be in Hershey, Pennsylvania today. In December, in a very cold day, sometime in December this year, we will be watching TV and see the Southern Columbia Tigers playing for a championship in single A. That's a given. And after I saw them play today, no one is going to take that from them. We have come a mile and a half. There was some question in the media around here. Now, I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure what they all looked at. But obviously, when you looked at what people were saying, what the radio and some of the papers said, they all firmly believe that the Southern Columbia Tigers would win this football game. I do not quite understand that, because Mount Carmel area, of course, not only with a tradition as they have, but number 2 ranked in the state in AA themselves. So that's right. Nothing to sneeze at. Winning 2 big games, the best running back in the state, a quarterback that is as good as any we're going to see also.
All year long.
Although Kaskie had to do more.
Yes.
I don't know if it was Shinskie didn't need to do more. When you got a guy going for 265 yards, you can kind of blend into the crowd. Kaskie, on the other hand, had to do more. We bottled up Chickatana, we bottled up Richards like we needed to do, and we did. And we put it on his shoulders, and he nearly did it.
But again, Kaskie, what can you say? Those beautiful runs in the first half, broke out. He scored the touchdown down there. And then, again, running for his life as he had in the second. In the second half, we put a lot of pressure on him. But you saw the ability, his athletic ability in that second half to do whatever was needed to break away from Matzura chasing him, from Ziegler chasing him down, and putting pinpoint passes, 25, 30 yards downfield, making the reception for that touchdown that I guess it was Richards had. But what can you say? He's just an outstanding athlete, a great team. Their offensive line did also what they had to do. They stepped it up a little bit, and I think Coach Roth was a little bit worried about the offensive line.
All right, we look down. We have Jose, and I want to bring Jose on here real quick because I'm sure went on to talk about some of the stuff that happened here. Wayne relinquishes the headset a second there. Jose, good to have you with us. I understand that we have set a record tonight.
Yeah, a couple of them actually. Real quick and unofficially. Right now, 39 carries, 265 yards. breaks the single game mark for carries, which he's established last year with 37. More importantly, breaks the yardage record of 250 set by his brother Brett in 1996 versus Marian Catholic. Another thing that I believe happened tonight that got lost is that he had 3 consecutive 200-yard games now.
Yes.
First time since Gary Diminick against Shikellamy, Shamokin, and Valley View in 1969. Brett had a couple of 200-yard games back-to-back, but this is the first time for 3 in a row since Gary. An awesome performance. 2 interceptions, too. What more can you say?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else you could do? I mean, it's just amazing. Wayne and I are up here, and we went through a lot of what we saw out there, and we said, you know, all the hype in the media and all the stuff that said that Southern was going to win and certainly being picked with more guns than we have. We defensively, and we have not talked defensively much because we've been racking up such gigantic offensive yards, but I think tonight, defensively, we took a Shikatan and we took a Richards out of the football game. We left Kaskie in it, and he was as dangerous and as talented as we could ever see it. Remind me, just like Straub. We compared him to Straub out of Line Mountain.
I was just going to say the same thing. He was the best thing I've seen since Straub. We talk about numbers. They had 108 yards on the ground, 131 in the air, 11 for 24 with the 2 interceptions, which were huge, as it turns out. Yeah. The play that he had the 69-yard touchdown, I think, was broken. And I thought Ziegler was close to having him, and he just made a great play on it, threw across his body and a long pass downfield. And, hey, they're a good football team.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go a long way.
Wayne said we'll expect to see them on TV at Hershey. They're going there.
I hope we're both
Who's going to stop them?
It's just, this is a big step for our guys and for Mike Brennan tonight. We played some teams that people questioned. Tonight it was a real football game against a real football team, and I think they showed a lot of character. Mike was not real happy. I think we had a lot of mental mistakes tonight.
One of our sloppier games. One of our sloppier games.
And it was so uncharacteristic for. We haven't done that this year, and I just think that Mike's going to adjust that.
Well, we talked about having some conversations about that, and again, this was a big game too. These are some young kids here. There was pressure here, and that's what happens. Although some of our management of players in and out and all, I'm sure we'll discuss. Wayne is standing next to me. I'm afraid we don't have enough headsets, but we'll quickly look ahead as we got to close this thing out. But we win a gigantic football game here. You can stay on it. You can stay with me. We'll close it out with him over here. We saw a great football game. We did all the things we hoped we'd see. There's no better individual performances than you're going to see in a football field that we saw tonight. But for Mount Carmel area, unfortunately, they have to go down, and now the next game on the schedule is Shamokin Area Indians. New coach, Carm DeFrancesco out of Mount Carmel's coaching down there. They're going to come up to Coal Bucket at stake. It's at Mount Carmel, and that's good. We're going to have it at the Silver Bowl. But another pressure-packed, intense dogfight of a game facing us. The only thing I would say is that I saw no one injured. We had some cramps and stuff, but no one looks like they got injured, and that's probably the best thing to say about it. But our pressure cooker continues as we look down the line, Jose.
You're right, Warren. This was only the beginning. This is the beginning of Murderers Row. We have Shamokin, then Allentown Central Catholic, then Marian Catholic. I mean, it's going to be and that's the thing that people don't understand about the Mount Carmel football program is that it's very tough to play from the top every week. People are out to get you every week. We're that game on their schedule. And we have to emotionally be ready every week, and that's very difficult. And people sometimes lose sight of that fact, but I think Mike Brennan will have them focused again next week. That there's no need to us forgetting about Shamokin. We'll be ready. Carm will have his team ready. And it's going to be a great night at the Silver Bowl.
All right, don't forget tomorrow night, Supper Club gang. Now is where you want to be at Supper Club and see Coach Brennan and talk to the kids before the big Shamokin Coal Bucket game. I want to thank Jose for coming up and giving us those stats. And we knew that he had been very, very close, and we confirmed that he is now the record holder. And I know that it's easy to say that. I know that I'm going to think about this in the next couple of days and think about the great history of this program, the tradition, and the people who have run the football, and look at John Veach and know that I've seen something that I'm probably never going to see again. Maybe in my lifetime. So I just want to take my hats off again. We say a lot of things about that kid, but let it sink in a little bit and what we really saw tonight here with him.
And he worked for that on the off season. That's what you have to say about this kid. Everything we heard about him, like I said before, that he's going to be night and day from the way he played last year. Last year he's totally stepped it up, and you can see even that 4th and 1 in the middle of the field. You can see that the strength and the tenacity that he ran with the ball. There was no way anybody was going to stop him behind that line of scrimmage. He was picking up that first down. But you're right. John Veach, and I think John Veach in the first 2 games had taken himself out of the game. I don't think he knew he had some yardage,
Yeah.
and he was close to it. But, I mean, that's the character of the boy. He doesn't want to do it, in a mediocre game. I want the top game. That's when I want to do it. And sure as heck, he proved himself tonight.
All right, we've said all we can here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you watching us. Again, this is WKMC TV. We look forward to you on Friday night at the Silver Bowl, the Shamokin area Indians. That needs no hype. That needs nothing. You're just going to want to be there. That's all you got to do for that game is show up. That'll be what it is. And so in closing, I am Warren Altamore.
Wayne Brokenshire.
Good night.